everyone, being here on absolute fantastic Thursday, July 9. This is something that we've been waiting on for quite some time. Is that music still going? And I think it is, my friends. I know you like the music. I'm going to turn it off so that you can hear me. So thanks for bearing with me. Well, one and all, a couple of things. First off, thank you for those who are sharing this out. Thank you for those who have supported. Okay, how am I now? We were, here we go. Let me know. No sound. How about now? Just takes a few seconds. It's better. It's better. Okay, great. Thank you all. Thanks, Kev. Thank you, Diana, for letting me know. And I think we're good. Yes. Yes, we are good. All right, my friends. Well, okay. So, a couple things. One, if we were getting communicated to, um, like we are, for example, going on 2 weeks straight of cabinet comms, is what I call them. President Trump, the White House, and Elon. We're getting major comms that validate. So there are two things, right? There are the comms where they're communicating to us in very interesting ways. Q said many years ago, "Learn our comms." Well, I have, and we have been decoding Q drops since 2019, and at over 1,750 shows and well over 7,000 hours of live programming. Why so much? Well, because Q takes time. And most people, and Oliver and I were speaking about this. I don't know when he's going to make it on, but I look forward to being joined by Sir Oliver Pollock. And we're going to go over one of his dives that he did, inspired by our show Tuesday night, and it's quite extensive. Now, so looking back, Q said learn comms. So I did, and I figured out the significance of timestamps, the significance of capital letters, the significance of mirrored numbers, or taking a number and mirroring it, flipping it, and deltas. Time differentials between posts, posts that are posted and taken down, and the significance of the first post of the day, the significance of the last post of the day, the significance of the posts that that coincide with one another, and not coincide with one another, however, that communicate very similar, if not the exact same topics. So it's been a long journey. And one of the things that we were talking about before the show Tuesday and also on the show was that there are certainly several types of patriots, influencers, podcasters, newsmen, journalists, whatever you put, whatever category you put people in that you enjoy watching, listening to, that we have seen many of those exposed over the years. Um, and what has exposed them are the tenets of Q, for starters. And that is, be careful who you follow. Be careful those who profit off this movement. Um, and my audience will tell you, my family will tell you, my friends will tell you that I've done anything but profit off this movement. I've given every show away for free for since 2019. Never had a paywall, and will not ever have a paywall. The donations by you getting involved in products that I use and that I enjoy, have supported this Truthcast barely, and which is also why I have to coach basketball. Not that I have to, I do, but because I love doing so. But this is so be careful who you follow. Beware those who profit off this movement. Operators never divulge. So people out there that think or say that they're a part of the equation, they would never divulge that. So that's key. Um, no outside comms. That's a big one because Q knew that there would be charlatans that would come along and pretend to thank you, Joy, appreciate that. That would pretend to uh, know things that a podcaster, an influencer wouldn't know. And if they did know, they wouldn't be able to divulge. And so, in every one of these, you know, people that have gotten involved in this, uh, many of them reek of low self-esteem. So they have to be somebody they're not. They have to know somebody they don't. They have to have an inside scoop. They have intel that they want to share with you. And I've never said that I had intel that you yourself could not acquire. So that is where we are, and then we get into a whole other element. Obviously, the mainstream media has failed in its credibility with a great many human beings on this earth, and the CIA and Mossad have done an excellent job in setting up and financing influencers outside of the mainstream media, and those are being exposed. And Anna Paulina Luna, with her post the other day, the Game of Thrones post, it said the people who finance these influencers and the influencers themselves will be exposed. So people are dropping like flies. Then there you have the crew that doesn't do Q, and the crew that doesn't do Q are the people that don't know Q, B don't have the time for Q, don't spend the hours and hours and hours and hours researching, diving, digging, that we have done on this show over the past 8 years. And then you have those who are simply paid, like the Mockingbird media, mainstream media, to discredit Q. And all those who discredited Q, they're on the same side as the mainstream media. So, what does that tell you about their message? So, those of you who know me don't need to hear this. This is mainly for those who are possibly finding us for the first time, and and much of it goes without saying for those who are wide awake. But let's talk about what is going on. Thank you, Kathleen. I appreciate you. Let's talk about what's happening. Now, these comms are a communication to the Anons and those who have come on board with Q over the years to let us know that things are happening, and they point to the things that are happening, and they point to posts of many, many years ago that are happening today. So those are the comms. The cons, or not the cons in the negative way, but the confirmations have been 2 weeks running with the Q cabinet, if you will, and they are dead on. They are using terms that Q has used. They are using terms that we are all very familiar with, and they are letting us know that the Q operation is being revealed and is going to be completely revealed very soon, because what we are engaged in is a revolution, and revolutions take time, uh, and revolutions have you know sacrifices, and revolutions have leaders, and revolutions have intent. And the intent of this revolution is simply to free humanity from the indoctrination. And I called this the indoctrination in order to expose it to the masses and to let people know that we are living in the indoctrination and we must break free from that indoctrination. Medication nation, vaccination nation, incarceration nation, education nation, all these areas of immigration nation. Look at how that has come to be, and it's all gaslit. It's all manipulated. The narrative is controlled by those who mean to do us harm and those who have kept knowledge from us that strengthen us, that lift us up. And here we are at a time, and you'll see a post here and there of people that are like, "We're done with the comms. We're done with the innuendo. We're done with the predictions. We want results." And I would ask you, are we not seeing results? I mean, we could go down the list of things that the President Trump has done that Q predicted. We could go down the number of things that Trump has accomplished that not only make him a great president, but point to the absolute fact that he is dismantling the old system and bringing in a brand new system. And this is something to absolutely celebrate, even though we haven't quite crossed the finish line yet. But if these comms and confirmations were not, precipitated by, or followed by, or commensurate with actual activity, actual, exposure of human trafficking, actual exposure of the immigration, actual exposure of people like George Soros and Bill Gates and the Rothschilds and Saudi Arabia and Barack Obama and Hillary Clinton. And make no mistake, Saudi Arabia is now one of our greatest allies. since the purge in 2017, right before Q started dropping. And that's in thanks to, again, President Trump for saving Mohammed bin Salman's life at the Las Vegas shooting, which that's what that was all about, the greatest shooting in our country's history. And people still don't know that it was simply an assassination attempt on Mohammed bin Salman by Prince Al-Walid and the deep state in order to take control of Saudi Arabia. And President Trump sent the Marines and National Guard to Saudi Arabia to help with the purge, the arrest of 287, I believe, high-ranking House of Saud members, including bin Salman's mother, including Prince Al-Walid, which allowed us to get, when I say us, the white hats, to the good guys to get the codes for Twitter, which is what started coming together when we have three pieces of evidence. Sir Oliver told me one last night that I was not even aware of, and we knew that Twitter was partially controlled by the white hats, and that they brought Musk in. They would not leave Twitter up for just a whim of a billionaire who decides to give us all free speech. Without question, Elon Musk, and this is part of Oliver's dive as well, Elon Musk is, if not part of the 10 that know everything, is certainly working with the white hats, bar none. And not just with X, but with Starlink, and the whole communications network of the deep state has been dismantled. The CIA satellites, the supercomputers, they have been taken hold of by the white hats, and what we are witnessing right now is the third act of this revolution, and we are reaching a climactic point. There are many that think that President Trump went to war with Iran because of Israel, without even understanding that the reason why President Trump has attacked North Korea, which nobody questioned. Q even said that. Can't believe that they didn't even question that when we collapsed the mountain that they had their nuclear facility in, and also freed North Korea from the CIA control. So that was one major one. And then the other major one was the Operation Midnight Hammer, which links directly to Barack Obama, who also used something called the hammer to spy on U.S. citizens. And that was a joint effort with Robert Mueller and Barack Obama, and Montgomery's creation of the hammer that was meant to capture communications from Al-Qaeda members was very disturbed when the hammer was turned on American citizens. And so what's happening in Iran is one of the reasons why Iran has not capitulated yet, is because they are still being run by the CIA and the deep state, those elements that are still active, because they cannot allow the United States military to start digging up the nuclear dust from Operation Midnight Hammer, and because those isotopes of the uranium will lead directly back to Barack Obama and Hillary Clinton, and the Uranium One deal that they struck and took that uranium, shipped that uranium to the Middle East and went to Iran and North Korea, and as well a lot of money went to Iran and North Korea from via Barack Obama. They were planning World War III. They were planning a sum of all fears event, which taking a warhead and attacking one of the major nations like Russia or the U.S. and pitting us at a world war against one another. This was stopped by Donald J. Trump. So this is kind of this is all of this. All of this. I mean, I had a conversation with a friend today who knows of Q but doesn't really know Q, and I was just the jaw was on the ground listening to me talk about all the things that Q has told us. And if Q, one of the things that really discredits those who try to discredit Q um, is the fact that without question, Q is the largest information dump. And I mean information that we weren't supposed to ever see, you and me, you and I can't remember which is which. I always get those two mixed up. So excuse my grammar. But we were never supposed to see the things that Q has validated, has has shown to us. This is the biggest information drop in the history of the world to we, the people of this realm, Earth, have not been, given this information. And now all of a sudden, we are being given this information by some entity, an anonymous entity that finally, called themselves Q by Drop 61. But we had already seen posts by Donald J. Trump before that. And to not think that DJT was a part of this operation is just foolish. To not think that they obviously have information that we did not have is obvious. So these are all things that have occurred and continue to enlighten you and I. So one of the things that that we basically came up with the other night is something that I had looked into, which was the truth timestamps of Donald J. Trump, and that took us directly to Barack Obama and what he was going through. So to give you just a bit of backdrop on Tuesday's show, let me bring that to you now. Here we go. Bear with me here. Okay. And by the way, thank you for those of you hitting the thumbs up and hitting the follow, the subscribe button, the supporting this Truthcast and my work over the years. Much appreciation to you all. And please share this out if you would. So the what we're looking at is, let me pull this up. Okay. So on Tuesday's show, we went into real Donald Trump's truth timestamps. Let me clean this up behind us here. The timestamps started with the boom timestamps. Okay, the boom of the not just the post that said boom, and I'll show you that as well. But the here, let me bring this up now. Oh, it went to someplace I did not want it to go. Okay, here we go. So this was the first one. Okay, and this was 10:43 p.m. Okay, and we got boom, right? And then we went to, of course, the 10:43 timestamp, and the 10:43 timestamp was Barack Obama in Muslim garb, uh, April 6, 2018. Okay, or shall we say Muslim attire, right? And the question Christian ring, pixel surface of a Hussein holding AK-47 in tribal attire, one of many nets shut down. Now, um, that would be significant, but President Trump went on to post these other booms that were actual booms, actual explosions
Whoa,
occurring in Iran. Okay.
whoa.
And the timestamp on these was 10:44. So we continue on this journey down the Q drops of 10:44. And it's a repeat of this one. And then the fake pick push by MSM videos backup, Google kill, YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, Yahoo, Bing, Instagram kill. And that will be paused because they're going to tell us that the picture that of Obama will be discredited by mainstream media. And then when they realize that there are videos in backup of that picture, then they were going to kill the internet. Now, the hammer is very significant because of what I said earlier about Operation Midnight Hammer. And so the posts continue. 10:45, another Donald Trump post. How soon? We don't inform our enemies of the specifics. We instead instill fear in them to make unplanned and disastrous countermoves. For example, when President Trump told Bill Pulte to declass whatever it was he wanted, Hillary Clinton came out in an interview and said that she recommends that that those working in government not cooperate with Bill Pulte. Cheers, everybody. Little picture of Jasper and I. Jasper got a bath and a shave today by yours truly, Head Sned and Q and Jasper. So he is awesome, and so that was those were those drops, and then of course we have the second set of drops, which takes us to 10:46, and that is the epicenter Full House. They are all here 24/7, 365. Enjoy the show. Epicenter Full House. They are all here. Most of the time when they talk about they're talking about the deep state. That they almost as if they have them, almost like they already have them at Gitmo. This is back in 2018. Now, then in Anon on 10:47 says normies don't give a crap if he is Muslim with a gun, they won't care. The important point is who Hussein is aiming the gun at, red, white, and blue spray. And fortunately, our friend Kevin Rotello was in the chat and found the clip that he took off the show that we did, and which was an interview with Nurse Christie, who has a direct contact that that knows Sean Spiker. Was it Spiker? I can't remember his first name. Who was a military airman that was shot down, and then what is speculated I gotta send Oliver the link here. speculated that he was shot by Barack Obama. And that is something that is, let me just take care of this here real quick. There we go. Sent. So the other post, by the way, let me take you to that, and that is the last post of significance here. Connect via past religious leaders regarding Hussein. We have everything they know we do. Risk. So the picture, the video that is going to take down the net, because they're going to try to keep us from that, was Barack Obama assassinating a U.S. naval airman. And that was Spiker. And this is death was U.S. Navy reported Spiker. Okay. And so Kevin shared that with us, Mr. Sciatica. Please give him a follow on X if you aren't already. Also at Nurse Christie _RN. This was an assassination. And this will bring the house of cards of the Obamas down. And as we were doing this, what was very significant was also the next day, this dropped. And oh, by the way, the video that we covered, that we played on the show, that Elon Musk had already posted twice, he posted again. And that's part of Oliver's dive. And that was very significant. And we were also getting a lot of interference that was not normal, but normal for when Oliver and I get together, but not normal. The latest update, Barack Obama was on site when his personal chef drowned the moments before the incident. Let me just play this for you.
Fox News Alert, we have new information tonight in the drowning death of Obama's personal chef, Tafari Campbell. The Massachusetts State Police responded to our FOIA request and released their report with some redactions. According to the report, Obama was on the scene shortly after Campbell went missing. Report also states an unmanned female staffer jumped into the water when Tafari fell off his board, but it was already too late. He disappeared. We also now know that Secret Service has surveillance footage of Campbell from Obama's compound moments before he entered the water. So we're going to see if we can get that, and we may have that for you. Again, we're very, very sorry for Tafari's family. That was a serious, serious tragedy. Fox News Alert, we have new information tonight.
Oh, no, this was somebody who was a very good swimmer, who drowned in what, like 4 feet of water, something like that. Water he could stand up in, and very, very curious circumstances. So, and here we go. Sir Oliver is in the house. How are you, my friend?
My man.
How are you?
I'm good.
Yeah.
I'm good. I apologize for coming in late. I was a little distracted.
No worries. No worries. We've been a little busy, my friend, haven't we?
Yes, we have. Yes, we have.
Yeah. Yeah. I want to give a shout out to, first of all, thanks to Kevin Rotello for sharing the clip that he had put together 2 years ago. This was in this was 10/14/2024 when we did this show.
Oh, lost you already.
Oh, unbelievable.
Can't hear you.
Oh my gosh. Well, my friends, this is what
started
happened
early tonight
when we get together.
I can't hear you, Kev. I don't know if you can hear me.
Oh man, Unbelievable.
can't hear you. I lost you. As soon
All
as
right,
you
I'll
clicked
kick
on
you.
this link, I
Is
lost
that
you.
right? Wow.
I can't
Let
hear you.
me click
I'll
off
come
of
back.
it. Let me see. Is that how about that? Can you hear me now? I think he already kicked off. So
No.
oh, all right. I kicked him. I thought he was gone. But so normally when we get together, I have to kick him out of the studio about 5 or 6 times because our audio is muted. My audio to him is muted. And here we go. Bring him back on. Okay. How's that?
I hear you now.
Okay. Now
Definitely.
let's make sure this particular thing isn't due to me adding this screen. How about now? Can you hear me now? And now I just lost him. That's weird. That's really weird. I'm going to leave this up and have him come on and see if that makes a difference. I use StreamYard, folks. There are thousands of people, millions that use StreamYard every day without such events taking place. But if you're new to this channel, you also know that I've been terminated off 26 platforms over these 8 years that I've been doing this, and including demonetized off the major platforms. Okay, how about that, my friend? Can you hear me?
Yes, I can
Okay.
hear you.
And what dropped you that time? Do you know?
I have no idea.
Okay.
I have no idea.
It's exactly what's going on. Now I'm going to remove this screen, and so it's just you and I.
I
You
still
can
hear
hear
you.
you can hear
Yep.
me. Okay, I'm going to bring the screen back up. You can still
I
hear
still
me.
hear you. Yep.
Okay. All right. So
Did
that's
you do anything different?
no, nothing.
Yeah, I guess they're messing with us.
Yeah.
Right from the get.
Yep. Yep. So I don't know how much you caught before you came on, but basically
I didn't catch anything, to be
okay.
honest with you. I saw your
No
text
worries.
and then I jumped on.
No worries. I basically just recapped what we did Tuesday night with the Trump truths timestamps and into the Barack Obama tribal attire and the video I did, the show I did 10/14/2024 with Nurse Christie. Excuse me. And this is so you are now up to speed. Um, and but that was a banger show. So and then Kevin shared it today on X, and it was shared out by Spiritual Street Fighter. It was also who's been reposted by POTUS 47 times and is a fantastic patriot and also allows me to use her artwork as my thumbnails. I didn't use it tonight because Diana put up a special one when Sir Oliver's on. She does a little graphic, kind of cool. If you ask me, it's little bit heavy on the Sir Oliver, a little light on the David Snedeker. You know. So, but yeah. So, at any rate, and so it's been. I haven't checked, but it is. It has been. Let's see. Well, total. It's almost 10,000 views. Um,
Oh wow.
yeah,
For Tuesday night?
but that was the original, and I don't know how now the Tuesday night. I haven't done those numbers, but we're probably somewhere in the ballpark of 10 to 12,000. But the post, Kev, do you know how much? What kind of? Can you drop some numbers for me there? Um, and let's see. And He should. Is Kevin in the chat?
Hey, listen, it's that
Yeah,
those are good numbers. You know, even if they're larger than that, those are great numbers.
yeah. And
The thing is, and this is a mistake that I make a lot of times. I wouldn't call it a mistake. It's just you get caught up with everyday life. You get busy.
mhm.
You forget what you put out there.
Yeah,
And
that's true.
yeah, I mean, but
Yeah.
I mean, you've been doing this for so long. You've got a plethora of information that you've put out there over the years. Um, so have I, and so have many others. And that's what I like about Chad, right? Cad Grago, the
Yep.
artist.
Yep.
He consistently reposts a lot of his material.
Yeah.
And I think that's key because we're inundated with so much information that we forget key
Yeah.
material, right? Am I right?
Yeah, and we miss it. Like
I mean, we miss it, we forget it,
yeah.
and we're on to the next, psyop or whatever you want to
Yeah.
call it.
Exactly. And I was just talking to a friend today, and we were talking about how the mainstream media understands the importance of repeating things over and over and
Right.
over and over again. And this was straight out of Freud.
Exactly.
This was Edward Bernays who put together the wrote the books about his uncle's work, and said, if you repeat something enough times, people will take it as truth. And Joseph Goebbels did this in Nazi Germany, and had his books when they went into Goebbels' office. He had two of Edward Bernays' books in his office. I don't know if you knew that.
Well, I did not, but that's a main tactic of the CIA through MK Ultra, right?
Mhm.
Repetition. When you look at the education
Yes,
system,
yes,
right? Repetition.
yeah.
When you look at people with low IQ, no offense, I'm not picking on anyone, but the more you repeat something
No
to
offense to
them,
me. What are you saying? What are you saying?
your 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 IQ is as big as your height. So that's saying a lot.
Thank you, man. I appreciate that.
But
Yeah.
you get what I'm
What do
saying,
you
right?
say? What are you saying? My IQ 68, 68? What do you say?
I thought you were 6'10", so I'd say 61.
Yeah, there we go. Yeah, I was trying to eke out of it. Well,
you,
here's the thing. I've shrunk,
you shrunk over the
right? I've
years.
shrunk,
Yeah.
and so as you shrink, as you age, you get wiser and you get smarter, but your height
You
diminishes.
get smaller.
Yeah,
Yeah. You got to come down and level off with everyone else,
yeah,
kinda.
right. With all the, I guess I gotta, it's frustrating, but sometimes I have to interact with the mortals. It's
Yeah, but no, in all seriousness, and I
yeah.
tell my girls this all the time, like if you repeat something 18 times, you'll never forget it. Right? So you got to be careful what you take in
That's
and
true.
what you say.
Yes.
Because the more you say it and the more you hear it,
Yeah.
the chances are you're going to remember it over other things.
Yeah. And this is why I told my friend today, this is why President Trump repeats himself
That's right.
so many times, because
right.
he understands the value of that. And you might listen to a Trump speech and it sounds like the one he gave last week or 2 days ago or 4 days ago, but it's absolutely vital. And this goes to what you were saying about Drago,
Right.
is that about putting it out again and again, repeating it. So yeah, absolutely, I agree. And I used to do more of that. I used to repost the previous night's show and say how many people joined us, and that was boosting me. And I got away from that. I got away from that. So I got to get back to that. I'm so glad you mentioned that.
Especially when, like, for instance, Tuesday night show, you know, a couple of excerpts from there, you know,
Mhm.
stuff that really hit hard, that resonated with everyone, you know, and that you know is vital information. Just put it on redial.
Yep.
You know, I'm guilty. I don't do that enough. And I'm gonna try to do that. Sometimes I go back to my other account and I post some stuff from there and I repost it, or I'll go back in this account and post some stuff. But you know, with everything you have going on,
Mm.
you know, you as you as and in Dave, you know, David and everyone else who's listening, with everything that you have going on in your life, it's not easy. It's not easy to keep up and to reflect,
Mm.
you know,
Yep.
and continue to put out this information that is necessary, right? You have to sift through all the bullshit. I'll give you an example. Sometimes I'll come on here and I won't, you know, let my presence be known. I'll just read and read and read and read and read. I like and bookmark and I'll, you know, repost some things. I saw something on, I want to say Fox News, where the leader, the Democratic leader of the LGBTQ XYZW FUCK movement,
Yep.
they,
I
I'm
like
sorry to all my, you know, gay and lesbians. I grew up when it was just gay and lesbians.
Yeah.
Um, he's the leader of that caucus, and he's saying, and I'll share the clip with you, that we as parents cannot tell our daughters what to do with their bodies, because if they're old enough to have children, then they're old enough to make decisions for themselves. This, in his words,
Mm.
if a woman is old enough to menstruate, something like that, I'm paraphrasing, but it's pretty much, you know, the narrative he was trying to pull across here.
Yep.
If a woman is old enough to menstruate, then she's old enough to make her own decisions. I'm sorry, women do not go into their menstrual phase as women.
No,
Every
they,
woman I know
yeah.
has gone into that phase as a girl.
Yes.
Okay. And for someone with that mentality, that, you know, a girl is old enough to make decisions on her own without the parents' consent because they're old enough to have children, that's demonstrably, you know, depicting a monster's viewpoint. Okay. Because
Mhm.
in essence, he's pretty much saying she's old enough to, you know, have children. Well, then, you know, she's old enough to do whatever she wants to do, you know. And this is what they do, right? They manipulate these young girls, emphasis on girls minds, right?
Yeah.
They
Yep.
make them believe that they're old enough, you know, to make decisions. I'm hearing echoes.
Sorry, that was something just popped up.
Oh, okay.
Go ahead. Yeah.
They're making them believe, or hoping that they believe them, when they say, oh, you know, you don't need to listen to your parents, you know, you're you're old enough, you can make your own decisions, you know, XYZ. I was infuriated when I saw that clip, you know, because I know for a fact, because I did a study on it, I actually did a paper on this, on the fact that no one is born gay, right? I've had huge debates on this topic, and the outcome, and I've done my research. As I mentioned, I did a paper. I interviewed someone who is a chromosome away from being a man. She's a woman. She refers to herself as a woman, but she's one chromosome away from being a man.
Eh, right.
But she loves men. You understand?
Mhm.
But she was abused as a child and she was raped.
Mhm. Yeah.
And
That
she
that's
agrees.
pretty consistent.
Yeah,
So,
exactly.
yeah.
She agrees with me on the fact that 99% of the people who turn out to be gay and lesbian were either molested as a young child, and I mean very young,
Mhm.
or they were raped. and in that process, I couldn't tell you firsthand, but I'm telling you over research, you know, they instill so much fear in them that they either end up hating women or hating men. And so they go in the opposite direction. You know, a lot of times they think that it's normal. You know, let's say it's a boy. You know, they
Yep.
think that it's normal to receive this love and affection from a man. You know, and an older man, right? And
Yep.
for a woman, it's usually an older woman who hates men, who went through that already, went
Mhm.
through that whole process. And the same with the men. They were groomed, you know, they went through the whole process. And it's an epidemic at this point, right? To the point where the true gay and lesbian men and women are infuriated with the way things are going right now, because it's way worse than just gay and lesbian, right?
Yep.
Agree?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
It's transhumanism, you
Yeah.
know, and
It's yeah. And
that's what they want.
it's also the medical community, you know,
Yep.
it's like um who's to blame for you know, the black fatigue? It's the black population that doesn't speak up against it. Who's to
That's right.
blame for the Islamic violence and jihad? It's the Muslims that don't speak up against it. Who's to blame for the doctors that are so full of themselves and have such a God persona that they actually think they can turn a man into a woman or a woman into a man? The arrogance of that. And who's to blame? All the doctors that aren't speaking out against that, you know, and also COVID and the vaccines and all that. The doctors that didn't speak out against it. Part of this revolution has to be the collapse of the Rockefeller medical system, right? And this is goes right to what you're talking about. Um, this is absolute, you know, transhumanism, anti God, anti creator, that created me as a man, you as a man, you know, our daughters as female, and you know, these children that are coming up have all kinds of issues like we did, like, you know, just insecurities and trying to figure the world out. And here they're being confused even further by this absolute demonic representation of the way life is supposed to be, right?
It's the scientific community being led by their lust, you know, for information and their cravings for the flesh, you know,
Mm.
pretty much. You know, it's like science, the deeper you get into science, right? The more you discover in science, right? The more empowering it is, right? You discover something new,
Right.
you think you're the most powerful person on earth
Mm.
because you found it. You know, and you now own that discovery. You know, I like to think of my heavenly Father as the ultimate mad scientist because he is the creator of all things.
Mm.
You know, and these literal mad scientists that we have here on earth, they refuse to acknowledge that because they
Yes,
think,
that's a great, yeah,
yeah,
keep going, yeah,
because they think that they are the Almighty. You understand? You create this virus that's gonna, in your mind, save millions of people, when in reality you're killing millions of people. You think you're the savior of mankind. And now you mentioned the word demonic because that's very fitting. You know, you get all these demonic entities behind you, supporting you financially, you know, supporting you in all your endeavors. In other words, you know, you come up with this uh medication, a new drug,
mhm,
and you know, the the elitists get behind you and support you by, you know, sending you a private plane, you know, to take you to Switzerland, and you're staying in a 7-star hotel, and you're surrounded by billionaires who want to, you know, just hear you speak. You know, they put you on this pedestal like you're the most important person in the world, you
Yes.
know, and the next thing you know, you're captive. You're their captive now, you know. And I think of Bill Gates. You know, he comes to mind, right? Bill Gates as a person, harmless, harmless.
Right.
His money, powerful. What the money was used to create, even more powerful. But Bill Gates himself, harmless, harmless. If that man saw a fox, he would probably be terrified. You know what I'm
It
saying?
should.
Like
Yeah.
he's not a dangerous person, you know, in his own, you know.
Which is why he was friends with Epstein, because it's weak men that need children to molest and abuse.
And it's the weak men that these mentally uh powerful men prey on, right? So Epstein was taught how to, you know, use MK Ultra on you know, certain individuals to draw them in for what they had that he could utilize, right? That's why he had a whole community of scientists working with him or for him, right? He
Yep.
was trying to create this army of little Epsteins, right? That were going to take over the world, you know, on the surface and below the surface. You give someone, you know, too much knowledge, you're giving them too much power, you know, and it all goes back to the Bible where, you know, our Heavenly Father said, you know, do not eat from this tree,
Right.
right?
Right.
Which is pretty much saying, don't open that book. Everything that's in that book, you don't need to know. Just live your life. Be fruitful and multiply. You know, find a woman, find a man, have children, live off the land, just be happy. You don't need to know about all this other stuff over here, you know? And that's what our mad scientists are so you know, focused on, right? All the knowledge. They don't want to know just some things. They want to know everything
And the thing about science is you have to challenge science.
all the time.
And if you don't challenge it, then it's not science. You have to figure it out.
That's right.
Um, and so this is absolutely the case with with COVID and how they with climate. I mean, President Trump just the other day, just called out climate change for what it is. It's the biggest hoax ever perpetrated on on human population. It's
You know,
just
I always go back to when he said, you know, he'll take all the slings and arrows
yeah,
because he knew he would have to. If you look at Trump the way I do, I look at him as a time traveler.
yeah.
And I mean that in every sense of the term.
Hmm.
Because if you know his history and his family's history, then it's plausible to believe that he is an actual time traveler. And if he is a time traveler, then he pretty much knows everything, or as much as you know can be known by a human being without getting into AI and quantum
Hmm.
technology, right? And he's got that too. He's
Yes.
got that too. He was probably privy to that before many other people. So he knew he was gonna take all the slings and arrows because he came on board to expose it all. He came on board to call the media the fake news, to call out all the corruption within our government and abroad, right?
Yep. Yep.
You know, I mean, he was associated with these people and he doesn't deny it. He admits it. He was once part of that club and he, you going back in? You know, he funded them. He gave them tens of millions of dollars throughout the years, you know. But if you think about this, and I experienced this myself when I was locked up for 4 years on Rikers Island,
Mhm.
right? You have to become your enemy in order to survive. You have to allow your enemy into your circle to
Yeah.
a certain extent. And at the same time, you're infiltrating their circle, right? So you have some people within, you know, their circle of influence, you know, that you're conversing with,
Hey, brother, keep talking.
right?
I can hear you.
You're
Keep talking.
you're conversing with these people on a friendly basis, you know, and at the same time, you're extracting information. Meanwhile, the leader of that circle is unsuspected. He's unsuspecting that that your purpose, your main purpose of of you know becoming part of this circle of influence is to gather information. At the same time, you allow them into your circle of influence on a friendly basis, right? And what I mean by that is there's no violations. As long as no one violates anyone, it's all good, right? We're on friendly terms. We're talking, you know, whether it's, you know, reminiscing about things that we experienced in the 80s or in current times, you know, we're, you know, oh, you know this person, oh, I know him too. You know, we call it shooting the shit. You're just shooting the shit and you're talking, blah, blah, blah. But you're taking certain key elements of that conversation with
Right.
you. And if
Right.
it's really, you know, relevant, now you have leverage over this person. If someone from that circle slips and gives you certain information that you can now use against the leader of that circle, now you have leverage. And that's exactly what Trump did. And they didn't expect it. That's why they didn't want him to become president, because he already knew so much about them.
Mm-hmm.
Had he become president, now he's privy to all of this classified information. You understand?
Yep.
So,
Yep.
when you think of, you know, Pfizer goes both ways, right? When you think of Drop 28, right? The infiltration from within, you know, all around, you know, whether it's a janitor or a doctor or a teacher, you know, that's how the CIA operates. But at the same time, the good guys were infiltrating those people, you know, and yes, it's been 60, 70 years, whatever, even 100 years. When when you look at the big picture, right, 40,000-foot view, that's nothing compared to the history of mankind,
Yep.
right? If
Yep.
if we've been battling the cabal and our end game is to destroy them once and for all for the last 100 years, and it's going to take another 3 or 4 or 5 years, I'm there for it. You understand? I'm not giving up because we've come so far and we're so close to destroying them once and for all. Why would you give up?
Yeah.
Right? Why would you
Yep.
give up?
Absolutely.
I'm gonna have to homeschool now another child, another daughter. I'm gonna
Really.
have to yeah, because she's going into 12th grade and they're requiring a certain vaccine, and I'm not doing that. I'm not doing that.
Yep.
But
Exactly.
she understands, and she's gonna use it to her advantage. You know, she's already working 2 jobs. You know, she's gonna work full time and go to school online, and I'm gonna help her. You know, I'm gonna homeschool her at the same time. and she's got her goals, and I love that about my daughters, that they goal oriented. They know what they want, and they understand what's going on in the world, especially being here in New York and seeing what's happening with these fucking commies.
Yeah.
It,
Yeah.
dude, it's insane.
That's why I had to leave California.
It's insane.
Right? I mean,
Yeah.
it's ridiculous. This is the that dive that you did yesterday. um I wanted to get into that. How do you feel about going into that?
Yeah, we can do that. Definitely. Definitely. But
Um,
what I want to do first, I wanted to talk to you about this actually. When we talked earlier, that video, I'm convinced that whoever made that video is part of the team.
yeah.
Either they're part of the team or they
Mhm.
purposely hit all of these markers
Yeah.
for us to see.
And part of that is what we covered on the show Tuesday, which is which was the timestamp in the video that is on the screen, and it goes to 4559, which is July 1st, 2020 on that screen, and then we go to 4559. But you also, after we got off, and the 4559 is the American flag, which that whole video was Americana, right? And also what you were saying before you even saw that part of it, that it was a time that we're going back to in America,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
And then this drop 4559 July 1st, 2020. There was a time when our children stood at attention and with pride put their hand on their heart and one united voice recited the Pledge of Allegiance. There was a time when strength and honor meant something, when standing for our flag meant something, when our history, heritage was taught with pride and respect. There was a time when respect was given to those who served, bled, and died to protect and defend our freedom. There was a time when we were grateful. There was a time when our accomplishments meant something. There was a time when these United States of America, one nation under God, was united, um, united under the American flag, a flag that was carried in battle by brave patriots as a symbol of freedom and justice for all, no matter race, religion, or background, a beacon of hope when flown, a mark of respect to their memory and those who willfully sacrificed their lives to defend. We, the people, decided our future, had a voice, and were united and strong. When the media was free from political bias and corruption, there was a time when our elected leaders stood their ground, dug in, and defended those they represented. How many men and women in uniform are currently serving on the front lines abroad, only to look back in horror to see the homeland on fire? New York City, New York, what you're talking about, California, Los Angeles, so many other cities, so many other states, land of the free, home of the brave. Now is not the time to be complacent. Will you answer the call? And then Reagan's quote, freedom is never more than one generation away from extinction. We didn't pass it to our children in the bloodstream. It must be fought for, protected, and handed on for them to do the same. Or one day we will spend our sunset years telling our children and our children's children what it was once like in the United States where men were free. Reagan. And that told us that whoever put this video together was definitely Q savvy, right? But then you also found further confirmation that there was a connection, a deeper connection to this. And also look at how many times time is used in this drop, right? And we're talking about time. We're talking about time travel. Um, you know, Uncle John, who President Trump has been highlighting as of late as well. Like, shout out to Uncle John Trump and showing him in front of machines that he created. on True Social. Without question, there's a time element, a time travel element here. Sandy says, I think Trump was a chosen one long, long time ago.
100%.
Yeah.
How's my sound?
Very good.
Okay, I had to take the earphones off and plug my iPad on because it was at 17%.
Okay.
So I'm glad you brought that up because I went into this video and I broke it down piece by piece, and it's just so much. And that's what led me to believe that this person, whoever it is, I know the handle is Heavy Pope, but we
Hmm.
don't know who it is,
Right.
right? We don't know if it's a male, we don't know if it's a female. It could be Elon himself. We don't know. It could be
Right.
somebody from his team.
Yep.
It could be Barron. It could be somebody from Trump's team. But
Yep.
the connections that I made, it continues to blow my mind. I have not seen a video that has made so many connections to not just the Q drops, but a lot of the theories that I've had for many, many years. With the Stargate, with the wormhole, that it was right from the beginning.
Yeah.
As soon as the
This-
video started, it's showing
Yep.
you the wormhole.
Yep.
So they're basically telling you we're going to take you through time, and we're going to show you certain things that you may or may not be aware of. When you look at the time that I was referring to, that I believe we're going to go back to, what I meant was, we're not going back in time literally, but we're going to
Right.
do away with certain things that weren't, on the scene back then, and just made life simpler. And most of that is all the middlemen, right? All these middlemen that we're paying extra money to
Yep.
are going to cease to exist. So naturally, we're going to have more money in our pockets. So will it seem as if we're back in the 50s? Probably. If Trump has it his way, he's going to implement more nuclear fusion, right? And eventually nuclear fission, which is going to lead to eventually, I believe, free energy, which is what Elon wants for every home. Even if we
Yep.
had to pay for a better technology than we have now as far as energy, where we're saving thousands of dollars a year, it's better, right? It's a step towards the future. So I think we are going to see that. I really do. But this video, we'll take this 4559 for instance. The first
Hmm.
time we saw this was at the 108 109 timestamp in the video, right? Did you catch that? Did you pick up on that?
No. I don't.
Okay.
I didn't do that dive. No.
Okay. So if you go to the video, it's a 4 minute and 55-second video. The first time that timestamp appears is at the 108-minute marker and 109. It goes into the 109-minute
Mm.
marker. If you want to go to those drops and go over that, we can start there and then we'll move on from there.
Sounds good. Sounds good. Um, Let me pull up.
And you're gonna bug out with the first one because we just talked about this.
Yeah, and I haven't done this dive. Happens all the time. 108. Let me pull this up for us. I got to take this one down.
What are you using? You use Q alerts or QAG?
Q alerts.
Q alerts.
I like Q ag, but I and my audience have gotten used to Q alerts. We used to do uh, Q dot. What was the Q dot pub back in the day?
QAnon.
QAnon
QAnon.pub.
dot pub.
Yeah.
Yeah, until that was taken down.
Yeah, it was
Um,
it was QMAP first and then QAnon.
QMAP. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
I like QAG because of the clock.
Mm-hmm.
He gives you the clock, and now he's starting to give you screenshots of things that you can't find. Which is, remember the site that I gave you, the the Anon
Yes.
tools.
Yeah.
That when they put that together, they gave you everything. So you could actually look at a Q drop and then go into the bread. You know, you can follow all the other, you know, posts that link to that drop, you know, just by clicking on the green numbers. But they also archived all the Twitter posts in the form of screenshots.
Right. Right.
So
Right.
now QAG is also doing that, which is great. So they give you the clock, they give you the Q clock, right? So for instance, if I come across a post from DJT and I go to the drops and you know it's relevant, a lot of times I don't search the Q clock. But if it doesn't line up with anything that I feel is relevant, I'll go to QAG and see if it's on the clock. You understand?
Yeah.
Because the clock,
Interesting.
the minute marker on the clock, you know, it gives you a bunch of drops. It's not just one drop. It's
Here's
all
Q,
the drops for that
here's
minute marker.
QAG, by the way.
Right. Right. It gives you all the clock. You don't have it set up right now for the clocks. Go up,
Mhm.
go up. See, you see where it
Right.
says digging options? Hit that. Hit digging options. Now scroll down. See it says show Q clock.
Yeah.
Click that. Now look what happens. It shows you the minute marker, the 2555 mirror, the 180 mirror, and the
Amazing.
3505 mirror. So that minute marker right now is 28, right? Drop 109 is on a 28-minute marker. It'll give you all the drops for that minute marker.
Right. Right.
And they're always relevant. So when those are highlighted, when the drop, let's say we're going to 109, and the timestamp, you know, you didn't go to 109. You were looking for the timestamp. You were looking for what's the timestamp on that?
On 109.
2006, right? 806, right? Let's say you were looking for 806, anything with 806, that would be highlighted. And then if it's on the clock, the markers of
Right.
the clock would be highlighted.
Right. Right. Um, the reason I didn't get into the map years ago was because I was already doing 6 hours, 7 hour shows, just doing the fucking dives. You know, it's like
It's a lot of work.
I got no time for the clock. You know,
It's a lot of work.
it was
But it,
crazy. I mean, yeah, it
but it
just
makes
ended.
it easier, Dave. It makes it easier because, for
Nice.
instance, if you go to this 28, let me go to the Q clock. I'll give you an example. I'm going to bring up the Q clock. I wish I could share it, but
I think you can. Let me see.
so
Mm,
today's the 9th. Today's 16-minute marker, right? So if I go to the clock on 16, it's going to give me all the drops for that minute marker, right? It's the Iran nuke deal. Uh, what rocket fired today? Who was supposed to be the next president? Expand your thinking. Future news will unlock more of the message.
Now,
UFO.
what are you reading right now?
These are all the drops that correlate to that minute marker,
Okay.
16-minute marker.
Okay.
So
Okay.
today on the Q clock is 16, right? So the 109, there's no correlation between drop 109 and the Q clock, right? I could just tell you that right now just by looking at the clock. Give me a second, I lost you. Oh, there you are. And there's no correlation on the 108. Go to the other one was 158. Go to drop 158.
And what took you to 158?
I'll tell you in a second.
Okay.
Nothing. Now go to 1350. Not that it's not important, but go to 1358. Okay, so there's no markers on the clock. None of these are hitting the markers on the clock. Doesn't mean they're not significant. They're just more significant when they do line up with the clock, right? Scavino is a clock fact. A lot of times he'll post shit that matches with the clock.
Mhm.
So
Mhm.
what brought me to the 158, which is 1358 military time, is the clock in the video. In that video, there's a clock, and the time on the clock is 158.
Oh, in the Musk video of Heavy Pulp.
in Heavy Pulp's video.
Yeah.
Right. Right. And I believe it's at the one. You see here, I have it as 121, but I don't think so. I think it's 118 and 119. Really, the 119-minute marker, which is 9/11 mirrored.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So the 119, at the 119-minute marker, they show the clock, and the clock is at 1:58.
Okay. Okay.
And remember, we're on the Obama timeline, correct? I think so. I
Yeah.
think we're going
Yeah.
after Obama right
Yeah.
now.
Definitely. Yes. And it's all comms lead to Obama.
Hmm. So go to 118, 119. And by the way, the 158, I believe, is a continuation. This is 157 and 158 is one post. It talks about Saudi Arabia, 9/11, the family that was allowed to leave, which is 9/11, right? So
There you
you get
go.
your
Yep.
119 mirrored. You don't have there you go, 158. Yep. 157, 158 are one. Yeah, so the 157,
Oh
the
yeah. Okay.
timestamp is 229, and the 158 is 229:21. It actually says continue.
Yeah.
That's
Yep.
all one drop. You want to read that real quick?
Sure. What is a key? What is a key used for? What is a guard? What is a guard used for? Who unlocked the door of all doors? And this, by the way, um, could be the portal that was in that video,
Could
most
be
likely.
Epstein.
Yeah. And also, there was something about Trump unlocking recently, and I'm trying to remember what that was. Was it pre-planned? Do you believe in coincidences? What is information? Who controls the release of information? Who has all the information? Who disseminates information? What is the MSM? Who controls the MSM? Who really controls the MSM? Why are we made to believe the MSM are only credible news or the only credible news sources? Who controls the MSM? Who really controls the MSM? Why are we made to believe, again, repeating things because
Mm-hmm.
they're talking about the MSM and they know that's exactly what they do. Why is this relevant? Why are non MSM platforms cast as conspiracy or non credible? Hello. Why are non MSM platforms cast as conspiracy and or non credible? Again, repeat. What happens when an entity and or individual accumulates power? Define corruption. Wealth equals power. Power equals influence. Influence equals control. Rinse and repeat. What
That's
power of
right.
influence was recently discovered, specifically regarding 2016 election?
Saudi Arabia.
Yeah. How much power of influence does Twitter, Facebook, Awaleed,
Mm-hmm.
Facebook, Reddit, et cetera, have influence in the minds of people? I think he was a big investor in Facebook too. Has the stranglehold of MSM been diminished? What is open source? What has become blatantly obvious since the election of POTUS? Why would they allow this visibility to occur? Were they not prepared to counter? What miscalculation occurred? What opposite impact did this generate? How did POTUS recognize and invert? Basically, fake news, and they lost the control over the minds. The mainstream media did.
But I have another perspective, and I'll tell you when we finish reading this.
Okay. What happens when an entity and or individual accumulates power? Define corruption, define censorship, define controlled censorship. What action is Twitter taking effective mid-December?
Mm-hmm.
That was when all the anons were just, done away with.
Hello.
What
Hello.
is what is this? What is the purpose of this action? Possible test to understand public government response?
Now remember what you said to me earlier in our conversation when we were talking on the phone about the white hats controlling the flow of information and actually
Mhm.
being behind the purge,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
What is the purpose of this action? Possible test to understand public government response. So, were there bad actors involved in social media and the control of information and mainstream media, 100%,
Mhm.
100% controlled. But white hats infiltrated and began controlling us because we were ahead of the curve. We were putting too
Right.
much information out there, and certain things needed to happen before certain information got out there. I agree with you when you said that. I've been saying that for a long time now, because I still don't understand why I can't get my account back, my original account. I know that I had a conversation with a certain individual who was the head of a certain group of people that were the main focus of the media at that time. And I think that may be the reason why. But I was also knee deep in COVID research, and I was putting a lot of information out, about COVID and about what went on in China. You and I talked about this earlier
Yep.
with or last night we talked about what's her name from the Camelot, uh,
Um,
Cassidy, Carrie Cassidy.
Carrie. Yeah.
Carrie Cassidy was
Yeah.
something that she put out years ago, and remember, she's the one who interviewed Bill Wood
Yep.
about the looking glass.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
That's right.
yeah,
Um,
there's a lot of stuff that we were putting out early on that I believe they didn't want to get out, and so think about it. It's plausible to believe that they were behind it because naturally we would blame the bad guys,
mhm.
right?
Yeah. Yeah.
And if we had information on those accounts that's vital to ongoing investigations, they're not going to give it back to us. That's evidence. It's tangible evidence. They can't give it back to us because we would just put it back out there, right?
Yep. Yep. And we also talked about how we believe much of our censorship was by the White Hats
Right.
because there were certain things that they were telling us, communicating to us that they didn't want in the mainstream or to the masses yet because they weren't ready for it or because it was given too much away. And yeah, so
And
that
I think that's one of the reasons why Q repeated that here, right? We know that the mainstream media is or was controlled by a certain three-letter agency. But when Q kept asking,
which by the way was confirmed by said agency
that's right,
by
during the
by
church during the church hearings. That's right.
yeah by William Colby and Colby. I think that only said 40 were in mainstream media, 40 assets and under oath. But then Bob Woodward investigated 2 years later and found there were 400.
Right. And that number kept growing exponentially
Yeah.
over the years. And they grew as an organization. They created the CAA and they went on
Yeah.
to,
Yeah.
sports and entertainment. Right.
Yeah. Yeah. They branched out.
Hmm. But yeah, when you look at that drop, 157, and Q asks who controls MSN, who
Mhm.
really controls, and in all caps, who has all of the information,
Mhm.
right?
Yep.
So do you really think that military intelligence is going to allow the CIA to gather all the information? They may have most of it, but they don't have it all. Their servers were knocked out in 2018. Their satellites
Yeah.
were knocked out in
And I
2018.
just mentioned that, by the way, before you came on, talking about Musk and how, he's a part of the operation as well as Starlink is a big part of the operation.
Right, right. Skynet.
Yeah. Yeah.
But when you look at that movie, right? But what was that? Was that Terminator?
Terminator.
It was
Yeah.
Terminator. The way they depicted it in a bad way because that was their goal, right? But if you believe that we've intercepted their movement, right, and put an end to their their plans for us as humanity, then that whole technology can be used for good rather than for bad. Yeah.
Absolutely.
It can go either way. I get that, but I believe that it's being used for good. And one of the reasons why Trump wants to stay on top of AI, he wants to be the leader in AI, the leader in blockchain technology, and so on and so forth.
Yeah. One of my listeners said that they think that the data centers are going to be uh, part of the new free energy, and I think there's definitely something to that. I've been saying that for a while now. That I think that there's something bigger going on with the data centers.
Could
Um,
be. Could be.
Kind of like the ventilators that they were building during COVID. Like, what was that all about?
Yeah, you had car makers making ventilators.
Yeah.
I always found that funny. Remember that?
Yep.
Yeah,
No.
I got Ford and these all these other companies working for me. They're making ventilators.
Yeah, I think Rosie the Riveter was involved. Uh, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, and none of it made sense. None of it made sense. Um, yeah, yeah,
It makes sense if you had a plan in place that was supposed to be foolproof. And here comes this guy, you know, who was once an insider and now he's against you, saying these things that just don't make sense, right? So if you're part of that, evil scheme, and you had a plan in place and you hear Trump saying, oh, GM and Ford, they're all making inventive. You're probably saying, like, what the fuck is this guy talking about? But you're fearful or you're panicking because he foiled your plot. You
right.
understand?
Yeah,
But he's not telling you what he's doing. He's throwing you for a loop.
yeah,
I don't know. Am I making sense? I don't
yeah,
know.
yeah. Absolutely. It's just this is disinformation is necessary. Q has said, right, and because they have to throw off the black hats as well, and this is this whole information is the key. This because the indoctrination is to keep us from the information that we need that they have to control us. This is yeah, and but we got here because you were paying attention to the video that Musk reposted 3 times, and obviously sending us a message, not the least of which is some of these dives that you've done off this, some of the dive that I did off of it, and the general, tapping into what people are really wanting again. Like we've got to break free from this insanity that we're dealing with right now. And we are. And that's why I'm so excited about the way things are rolling. Um, yeah, and this narrative is the thing that has kept people asleep.
Hmm.
And it
Read 158.
When was this announced? When did events in Saudi Arabia transpire? Well, that was in October of 2017, right before Q started posting. Who controlled a large portion of Twitter stock? Obviously, Al Walid. I also covered the assassination in Las Vegas early in the show, just as kind of a recap. Why is this relevant? Define oppression. Who controls the narrative? Who really controls the narrative? Who guards the narrative? Does the MSM shelter and protect select party members? Does this protection insulate these party members? Who controls the narrative? What laws were put in place to protect the MSM from lawsuits? Who specifically passed this law? What is that? Was Obama. What is immunity? What prevents a news organization from simply making up sources and stories? What prevents repeated it? What previous Supreme Court ruling provided protection to reporters from having to reveal their confidential sources? How many people are unaware of the truth due to the stranglehold? Exactly what I was just saying. How much must people be made aware of an alternate reality? What are crumbs? Think Hollywood and DC. Define lead in. Think play. What has been occurring recently? The stage must be set. Crumbs are easy to swallow. What if Hugh Hefner was a clown in America? CIA. What is a honeypot? Yep. Define blackmail. How could this be applied? Fantasyland. Who has all? Which was Fantasyland was Saudi Arabia. Who has all of the information?
All caps.
Agency.
Once again.
Yep. NSA. And that's why Q had control of NSA. The hunter becomes the hunted. Operations underway. Operators active. Disinformation is real. Disinformation is necessary. That sounds familiar. Silent war. And I haven't even read this in, I don't know how long, since I was last taken to it. Silent War, Some Gets Out, The Great Awakening, Iron Eagle, Godfather 3, The Hunt for Red October.
So you see how relevant this is in the grand scheme of things?
Yes.
And I got that from the clock.
Interesting. Okay.
So now, how much time lapsed between the first showing of the 4559, or the first revelation of the 4559, and the second? Because they showed it twice. So the first time they showed it at the 108, 109 minute marker. And the next time they showed it was 16 seconds later.
Is that right?
16 seconds later. Yeah. Yep.
And there you have it on the 16th.
16. Can you bring up that video? I want to show your audience. I want them to follow along. Because the way I see it on my end is a little different, but I know that it's 16 seconds apart, and then we'll go to drop 16 and blow their minds.
Yeah, let me pull up the last one, which was, what time was that? Oh, he did another video on the double slit experiment, and that was awesome. And there's definitely some comms there that Grasshopper picked up on that I want to.
Bro, go to Heavy Pulp. You can't go to Elon Musk. Elon posts like 10,000 times a day.
Yeah, good point. I just wanted to see. I wanted to see his last one because I hadn't seen that.
I haven't seen it either, but we'll be there forever looking.
Yeah, good point. Let's see.
Click. See where it says Heavy Pulp. Click that. Click where it says heavy poll. From heavy poll. Right there
There
it
we
says from. There you go. Boom. So now
And
go to the 109-minute marker. So that's the first time they show it. Right there.
yep.
Well, I can't see what it says on your end because the banner's covering it, but it should say 109, right? A minute ended it, and 9 seconds elapsed, right? When you go to the next one, it's 16 seconds later. So at the 125-minute marker, correct? That's 16 seconds later. 125 or 126.
126, 120.
126. I think it's more 126.
There's also, it goes into 127, but it reappears at 126.
It's 126. Yeah, so for me, it was showing slightly different. That's why I wanted you to go to her video because it's more precise.
Right.
So drop 126 is the plus, 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 plus. You know, that was when they were telling us who the pyramid consisted of. So that would make
Saudi
it
Arabia,
17 seconds
Rothschild, Soros.
and not fifth and not six. I thought it was 16. On according to what I saw, it was 16 seconds. But if you add the second, and it can go either way, then it would be dropped 17.
Mm-hmm.
Again, Obama.
Really?
Why does Obama travel in advance of POTUS to foreign locations? Which, by the way, remember he went to London.
Yep.
Remember that couple of times.
Mm-hmm.
Why is this relevant? Focus on the power of POTUS as it relates to the Marines. How can military intelligence be applied to prosecute bad actors and avoid corrupt agencies and judges? Biggest drop on poll. Above is reason why the shills are sliding, in case you didn't know. Shills log on and send info back to ASF for instruction.
Which is, go ahead. Sorry.
Which is they use a 5-prong prepackaged injection. One post auto generates 4 more at random designated times. Common drive of posts they all tap into. Since they misjudge the influence of the mainstream media, they are aggressively looking to censor throughout major platforms in exchange for CIA slush funds and worldwide access for expansion of said networks. Everything they do has been forecasted and prepared for.
Directly connects with 107, 108.
Mm-hmm.
Without question.
Mm-hmm. You were going to say something about the ASF?
Oh, I was going to say it's absolutely connected to not just the MSM and what we were just reading just a minute ago, but also connects to that's what they were doing. That's what Al Walid was doing with Twitter, was these 5-prong prepackaged injection.
Right.
They would inject a story and then it would auto generate. And they've shown us that now that we're awake to that, they've actually shown us examples of how they've done that. And that's why the White Hats, they needed to have Musk come in, right, to expose the Twitter files, but also to handle all the bots that were used for this injection of this information. And then, of course, the judges too. I mean, that is the judiciary is being exposed like never before right now.
Right.
The corrupt judges. Yeah. And to censor throughout major platforms in exchange for CIA slush funds, one of the other drops said that that would fail. Can't remember which one that is, but
So
that
I had did some digging with QAG on this drop,
okay.
and because we were trying to determine what ASF was, and as it turns out, he found a document from Carnegie Mellon University, which is a software engineering institute. And he believes, and I agree after reading this, that ASF means Acquisition Security Framework, managing systems cybersecurity risk, right? And if you read this document, then you'll understand it all makes sense. But yeah, it's
Say that
cybersecurity.
again. Uh,
Acquisition Security Framework, managing systems cybersecurity risk. Yeah. So they all report back to the Acquisition Security Framework, right? Which is a system that manages cybersecurity risk. You understand?
yes.
So they're putting out these 5-prong posts, right? But they're reporting back to this acquisition system framework or security framework, whatever it was. What was it?
The
Acquisition
acquisition security framework is a
security framework.
collection of leading practices developed by the Software Engineering Institute at Carnegie Mellon University. It helps organizations, especially government and DoD programs, acquire, build, and operate secure, resilient, software-reliant systems while managing engineering and supply chain cybersecurity risks across the entire system's life cycle. Interesting.
I'll send you the paper if you want. It's 82 pages. It's very interesting.
Yeah, please.
Yeah. Okay.
Um,
Uh,
promotes proactive dialogue, excuse me, and information sharing across program, team, suppliers, engineering, cybersecurity operations, and other stakeholders, breaking down silos. Roadmap for insight and control over supply chains consistent with standards from NIST, ISO, and DHS. Risk evaluation, gap analysis. Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. They had this. They had this ability, and why wouldn't you do it for the most important thing, which 108, 107, 108 talk about, and that is the information. Complete control of the information, without question.
I just sent that to you. Let me know if you got it.
Thank you. Did you send that in chat, X?
Yeah, on X. Yep.
Thanks. Got
Yep. So yeah, you want to get into the
it. Oh,
dive?
oh. By the way, just I went. Yeah, because I went to your ex, and you have Obama at 10 Downing Street.
There it is. That was George Papadopoulos. He posted that today,
He
and
posted it today.
I
Interesting.
reposted it. Yeah. Notice there's no Secret Service.
Yeah,
It's just him going in by himself.
yeah.
He's a controlled puppet.
That's what I was just going to say. This was an absolute white hat script right there. Yeah. The deadline for the CIA to have produced the documents for Congress linking Obama to the scandal was 27 months ago. Wow.
Yeah.
In other words, CIA has not released them. And if now that it's under Ratcliffe's control, then that's a choice by the White Hats.
Well, you can't because it's part of an ongoing investigation.
Right, right.
You know, so they're not going to release anything. This is just George reminding us of what happened. You know, certain things you can search, and I've done it many times. Doesn't matter. how many times you search, you're just not going to find the information unless you're doing FOIA requests and it's
Mhm.
not classified. You're not getting the information.
And by the way, that was and I played this earlier before you came on, because after we had this dive into Obama on Tuesday, on Wednesday, yesterday, um, they Fox was able to they got the FOIA requests for the event on Martha's Vineyard at Obama's the death of his chef, and that was through
I
FOIA.
can't wait. I
Yeah,
can't wait. I
yeah.
can't wait.
The chef that knows Michelle has a dick, that chef, and
Yeah.
writing a book about it. That chef.
Yeah, he
Um,
was writing a tell-all.
hmm
He was
hmm
writing a tell-all.
Had to put an end to that. Put the fear of God in anybody that had that as part of their plan to move forward with. Um, so this dive, Sweet Land Ode to America's 250th year. Yeah, you're gonna have to help me. This is like looking through Musk's X feed. Here we go. Here we go.
So, which one are we doing?
The Lone Warrior, is that the
The
one?
Lone Warrior, yeah. Because
Yep.
you said Sweet Land. That was a video that I did. Um, and if you watch the video, you could pretty much piece it all together uh, just by watching the video. But let's start with her timestamp of that video. Right, it's a 12/12 timestamp
Mhm.
on June 30th. Correct?
Yep. Yep.
There's an exact drop with the same timestamp and date as that video, and it's 45:47.
Really? Are you serious?
Look it up. Look up 45:47. Bring it up so your audience can see it.
No, I
Or
will
if you
not.
just, or if you
I will
just,
not.
if you
Oh,
just follow, if you just follow my, are you showing? Because I'm not seeing what you're showing.
yeah, yeah.
I
I
don't.
I already had it up. I was just fucking with you. Yeah. here's here's 45, 47 right here.
And it's still on the mirror for today. So who's 45:47? He's the lone warrior.
Yeah, yeah. Shit.
So they started off with that. They started off with that 12/12 timestamp on June 30th. It's right there in your face.
Yeah.
12
Holy
12
shit. 12,
June
12 right
30th,
there. Right.
45:47.
Yeah.
And that avatar, I used that avatar on my first Anon account on Twitter. That was my that was my avatar.
Oh, is that right? The Lone
Yeah.
Warrior
If you
one?
go to if you go to my page and bring up that article I did, I think it might be easier to do it that way. And we could just follow along.
Yeah.
Go back up. Go back up. Go back up.
Oh,
A little more.
yeah,
Right
this
there.
one.
Right there.
Ah, cool.
Yep.
And by the way, looks a lot like maybe Michael, Angel Michael,
Who?
Sword,
I can't.
the Lone Warrior.
What?
Well, look at the lone um, the Lone Warrior 109 is
Oh,
the
right.
sword of
Yeah, I hear
Saint
what you're
Michael,
saying. Right. I hear what you're saying.
right?
Yeah.
And then the prayer, defend us in battle.
Right. Yeah, it all connects.
Yeah.
It all connects.
Mm-hmm.
When I
Nice.
when I when you and I talked about this earlier or yesterday, I told you I left a lot of it out. I had to cut back
Yep.
on this article because it just kept going,
Mm-hmm.
and I wanted to give more information, but it was too long. so I had to kind of summarize things. But basically, in my opinion, like I said, I feel this person is connected because there's too many coincidences. Unless they designed it that way purposely, for the
Yeah.
clicks, and it
Right.
worked
And
because they've got so
hell
many
yeah.
millions of how many million views it got already? You know?
Yeah. And how many, yeah, exactly. And Musk, reposting it 3 times. I mean, and everyone's reposting it. Everyone's playing it. So you go to 1212. Okay. And here we go. Talk
Right.
to them about this one, if you will. And I've got to jump out for just 1 second. I'll be right back. Okay.
Well, this is Obama with with you know with um, Maggie Nixon, who was the granddaughter of Agnes Nixon, who created One Life to Live and All My Children and those soap operas from back in those days. Very powerful influencer in Hollywood. Um, and we believe, not just myself, many others believe that uh, the grandchild was given to Obama at a very young age. Um, and I think that that's going to be part of the disclosure. We've already have the soft disclosures. We've already, put out as much information as possible to get people to look and try to understand what's going on, within Hollywood and how they operate, how they sacrifice children and so on and so forth. Some children are born, literally born for that purpose so that they can be sacrificed off to a certain individual. Uh, but,
Mhm.
but this particular drop right here.
Hey, can I add something right there on what you just said that just, you know,
Connected.
yeah. Um did you see this video of Dolly Parton?
Oh yeah,
Okay?
yeah,
Because this is exactly what you just said. Let's
yeah.
watch this real quick.
Taylor and Travis, it's Dolly. And I was just told that you two are making a donation of $2 million to my imagination library. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I'm blown away and overjoyed with that gratitude. Now, it's evident that you two have made giving back a key part of your lives. So, hey, when you have your firstborn,
Boom.
can I have it? Because that is going to be one special baby.
Yep.
The question, firstborn, can I?
Who says that?
Right there.
Who
But she gave,
says that?
but she gave the symbol first
Yep.
on her heart.
Yep.
That's the sacrifice.
Yep.
Yeah.
I mean, who says that? Oliver, I am so happy that you married your beautiful wife. You two are going to have fabulous children. I want your firstborn. Like, who fucking says that? It's absolutely insane.
Satanists.
Exactly.
Satanists.
All right. Um, back to exactly what you were saying, which is this Wendy. Um, yeah.
She may have been born into it.
Yeah.
Her mom was friends with um what's his face from Comet. Oh man,
Elefantis.
Elefantis. Her mom was friends with James Elefantis. So she may have been born for that purpose. And that happens. As sad as it is, it happens all the time. And these children are they're unsuspecting. They don't know. They think
Yeah.
they're born into this life of luxury where they can get whatever they want, do whatever they want. They're famous, and then next
Yeah.
thing you know,
Yeah.
they're totally controlled, and they have to do what they're told. Look at
Yep.
Britney Spears.
Yeah. Yeah.
Perfect example. You know, I mean, she watched. They forced her to watch certain things. You know,
And it's not.
yeah.
It's not an
You're
act.
breaking up, Dave.
Am I? Is that all right? Is that
Yeah,
any
that's
better?
good. Yeah, that's good.
Okay. It's also no accident that okay. Just, folks, bear with us here. I mean, it's no accident that Anna Luna was just talking about MK Ultra in Congress and Manson and Jack Ruby, right? Everyone's talking about it, right? MK Ultra, because that really hasn't been in the news at all, right? And and then we're getting like this Dolly thing. We're getting this Agnes Nixon, this Wendy, um, the the granddaughter of Agnes Nixon, um, and also, by the way, um, because one of the things that I talked about Q at the beginning of the show, and
You're
what you and
breaking up, Dave. You're
am I?
choppy. Yeah, it's very choppy. Ask your listeners because it could
Yeah.
be me.
Let me see. Guys, am I 5'5"? Um, but also, and I wanted to. We kind of skipped over this, and I didn't want to lose this. Um, but when you took us to 108, um, we okay. Let me get to 108. 108. Just to remind everybody, was Oliver had the timestamp of the first in the video, the first number drop of 59. But when you go to 108, okay, Diana said I'm real choppy. I had a problem. Hold on. Let me see.
Yeah, it's very choppy. I
All
don't know
right.
what it
Is
is.
that it? Is that any better? Is
No,
it? No.
it's still choppy.
All right. Hold on. Um, what's going
The
on?
closer you are to your mic, the better. So maybe just put it in your mouth. I had to do it. I'm sorry, I had to do it. I can't hear you now. Did I leave you speechless? Nope, can't hear you. Whatever you did now, I can't.
How about that? Is that better?
I can hear you.
Is that better? That was a little too easy for me. I got to be honest with you. I'm disturbed by what I just did.
Oh my God.
Folks,
It- it-
I apologize. Please forgive me, and please
don't apologize. It was funny.
do
It's all
do
good.
not screenshot. Yeah, it's
Too late.
I'll do, dude. I'll do almost anything for a fucking laugh. By the way,
I already
you know
screenshot
me.
it.
You
It's
know
all
me.
over Facebook and Instagram. I got you.
Hey Kev, don't clip that. Um, so let me 108. Okay. Um, checked in post phone posting. Excuse the post count. Diana said Oliver's a bad boy. Yeah, you have no idea. The first extraction order reference to Zulu time. When I posted my response, I was saying that 1.5 hours would be plenty enough time for anyone to hide if they needed to hide. So if it was real info, then whoever posted it just broke OPSEC in a pretty bad way. Q then, this was an anon. Nothing is as it seems, anon. What occurred? It flushed Barack Obama out. Why is that relevant? Analyze timestamps of my go message to Barack Obama's tweet. Now, what did we just hear today about Trump returning from the NATO conference in Turkey.
Go ahead and enlighten me, but I will say that this stays with my theme of timestamps and the unplanned or uncalculated moves, right?
Yes.
By what they did, flushed him out.
Which we which we covered. First of all, we talked about, and then we went right to that drop through the dive we did Tuesday, which was the counter moves, and but what happened today was they said that Secret Service, Solomon reported this, that the Secret Service told Trump not to take the Qatar Air Force One back to America.
I didn't know that.
And so that was a thing, and because Trump said several times in his press conference that Iran was trying to kill him, and they even asked him about it. He said, "Well, it's no secret that I'm number one on their kill list," and yeah, they want to negotiate, right? And so he's number one on their kill list, and so but. This 108 drop is directly referring to the assassination attempt of Trump.
The missile fire.
When he was on Air Force One, coming back through
Hawaii.
Via Hawaii.
Yeah.
All right. And so this was let's see. And I'll pull that up real quick. By the way, no disrespect to your dive, but just what your dive is bringing up in me is so these tangents. And here it is. August the 17th posted this. The threat of assassination of Trump. Trump received, by his own words, 2 lists from the intel agency, and he's number one on those kill lists. The threat comes from Iran. He also said he won't be traveling back home in Air Force One. Air Force One will stay in Europe, and it's going to be sent 2 or 3 military bases within EU. Let the speculations on why Air Force One is really staying.
Don't do that. Don't do that.
And here it is.
The New York Post. I'd like you to address speculation that you're leaving Ankara not in the new Air Force One because of security concerns involving Iran. You've spoken today twice about them possibly assassinating you and possibly being successful. Did that concern have something to do with
Well, I speak about it a lot because, the life of a president is very dangerous. It's 5.2%. You know what a race car driver is? 0.1%. A bull rider, that looks pretty dangerous to me. It's 0.1%. No, it's 5.2% is you don't make it. You should have told me. You're an excellent reporter. You should have told me that years ago. Maybe I wouldn't have run. It's a very dangerous profession. No, I'm number one on the kill list for Iran. They're lovely people. I'm number one. So I don't know. I can't tell you that, but I don't really care because I'm doing my job and I'm doing it, I hope, better than anybody's ever done it. Because we have a country that's hot and really, really successful.
He's the GOAT.
I mention it only because it's on the list. I mean, it came out. There was another list came out yesterday, and I'm number one on. I like being number one on TikTok better, but I'm number one on the list for killing.
Hey, look at Scott Bessent. Look at Scott Bessent. That man is he's tall.
Yeah. Yeah.
I didn't realize how big he is.
Yeah, that's why he kicked Elon's ass.
I was just gonna say when I saw this earlier, because I did see this clip, I'm thinking about when he gave Elon the black eye. That's funny.
Yep, right. So this, I mean, this is heavy in the news, and Elon took us with that repost of Heavy Pulp's video, took us, thank you for doing that dive, took us to 108. And the 108 is directly related to the missile attack on Air Force One.
And I
that shut
think
off
I think
Washington
that's
State.
yeah.
Go
And I
ahead.
believe that that's the main reason why he kept reposting it, because he wants everyone
Yeah.
to revisit that
Yeah.
video.
Yep.
There's
And by
just so
the
much to see.
yeah, and more to see than just the awesome video of America too, and
It was an amazing video.
more to see from that one post, which was very in your face, obvious, because that drop was directly, it was July 1st, 2020. But as Trump and as Q have done many times, and we talked about this, you got to repeat things over and over again. They've taken us to certain dives over and over again, multiple times, to send the message that, hey, we need you guys to get this right. And that's exactly what Musk did with that reshare of that video. And like you said, I'm with you, bro. I think that was not a uh, uh, yeah. Go ahead, please. Let me get back to your awesome dive here, and let you continue.
It's not a coincidence.
No,
It's not a
no.
coincidence. I don't believe any of this is. Um, I can't just look at this video and not think that the sole purpose of this video is is not just to get people aroused in a certain way, or hyped up, right, or amped up about America, right? Especially those who remembers. I'm a 70s baby, you know but my mom was born in 50, and she grew up in that timeline. And then she told me many stories. So I don't think that it was just to remind us of those times where things were just much more simpler. I think it's also reminding us of what's to come, right? It's reminding us of what was in the drops that many of us have studied over the years. And a lot of it has happened, a lot of it has already transpired, but some of it hasn't, right? And we're waiting for certain things to happen. And and in the interim, so much more is happening, right? And we're being fed more information that we did not expect. So it makes this whole operation even more beautiful, in my opinion. Right? When Trump says the best is yet to come, we're all hyped up because we already know what to expect. But there's so much more that we're not expecting to happen that will happen. Could you imagine a world with free energy? I mean, seriously, that alone would do away with so much crime. If we had a world with free energy, if we lived in a world where, you know, one parent can sustain the family, if we lived in a world where everything we consumed was healthy, whether it be food or information, where we lived in a world where we stepped out the door and we automatically felt one with nature and safe, right?
Yeah,
We could go anywhere and feel safe. Like, could you imagine that
yeah.
world? I can.
I try as often as I can, because of the power of manifestation. and the power of our imagination, our collective imagination, is
Ding,
significant.
ding, 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 ding.
Yep.
100%.
By the way, I just pulled up on the drops, Wendy, because I wanted to show everybody the significance of this dive that you're doing and how many times Q brought up Wendy, and it's 7 times just here. Plus, there are 3, maybe 4 pictures of Obama with this Wendy or
Right.
Meg. Yeah, I think they called. I think they called her. I think Obama called her Wendy, but her name was actually Maggie Nixon.
Right.
All right, so yeah, back to you here with Hint, Hussein, and Maggie, Wendy.
Yeah. So this is one of the things that the military intel um, has on Obama, and when you think of moves and counter moves, and you start to realize that Obama is coming into the picture now, at the same time with Seth Rich, right?
Yep.
There's 2 operations going on within this one operation. There's one that's going after Obama and his handlers,
Mm.
and the other one that's going after the DNC.
And
Okay.
and also the door will be opened later. The choice to know will be yours. So here's the door again, right? Unlocking the door, right? And as the world turns, is part
Soap
of
opera.
your dive. Yeah, the soap opera that Agnes
Mhm.
Nixon popularized, or was,
It was one of them. It was one of them, and that actually that
it,
was on when Kennedy was assassinated.
that's right. Yes.
That's what
Thank you.
that was.
Thank you for that
Yeah.
reminder. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
You want to read this part?
Yeah. So we went over this. 1212 references Maggie and Hussein, but Q was encouraging us to look beyond the simple relationship, and
Yeah.
we talked about that with Agnes and her mom, and the connection with James Alefantis and all of that. Remember, Obama was photographed playing ping pong in the basement of
Yeah.
Comet Ping Pong. They can deny it all they want.
Mm-hmm.
The basement was adjacent to Comet Ping Pong in Voodoo Donuts.
Mm-hmm.
So although they can get away with saying there's no basement in Comet Ping Pong, it's because it was next door at Voodoo Donuts, and it was connected
Mm-hmm.
through the back of the restaurant there.
And in an interview, James Alefantis actually said that uh, he grows his own tomatoes in their basement.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I remember that. All right, moving on. We went over this.
Yeah.
That was the video to the Lone Warrior,
Okay.
which I believe is Trump. It's right there, 45, 47.
Yeah. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And I think this is not that I think that's part of a scene. Anon 55.
Yep.
That video he did that went viral
Which one?
with the archangel fighting against the demons. That's that movie where
Okay.
he was amping up all of us. I gotta find it now and share it with you. I know you saw it, but that character there went up against the demon in that movie. Yeah, this is important because timestamps matter,
Right.
right?
Yeah.
I did this whole decode off of timestamps, but not just a timestamp of, you know, the when she dropped the video, but also the timestamps within the video, right? And here you talked about the 5 minutes, you know, the 10 minute, the 15 minute, and it's 5 today, 10 past, 15 past. You have to expand the bread, you know. So it may be, I agree, whoever said that, yes, she's a time traveler. If we're looking at a drop, let's say it's, you know, 9 o'clock or whatever, you know, you have to look at 9:05, 9:10, 9:15. You understand?
Mhm.
You have to expand it because there was a lot that went on the boards. There was a lot of information being shared on the boards, and sometimes the posts, you know, the Q drops themselves were just a few minutes apart, you know, 5, 10, 15 minutes apart. Sometimes it was hours apart, sometimes it was days apart. You know, it's important to pay attention to the ones that were 5 minutes apart, 10 minutes apart, 15 minutes. You know what I'm saying? They're
Yep.
very relevant. So in this aspect, by making it a 4 minute and 55 second video, they're literally telling you, pay attention to the markers, the minute markers, the timestamps.
Yeah.
You understand? So right from the beginning, if you just caught the 4:55 and went to this drop, you would have known, okay, they're gonna give us signals. They're gonna give us a lot of messages in this video using, you know, different timestamps and what have you. By Elon posting or reposting 3 times, you have 3 different timestamps right there.
Mm-hmm.
He responded to her original post of the video. There's another timestamp, and we'll go over that because it's in my decode here. Can you, yeah, make it a little bigger? Are we there already? Yeah, we are.
Yeah.
We are already there. All right. So what I found very significant was the fact that he responded to her at 7:01 on July 5th. And I started to get into the July 5th drops, but I didn't get very far, you know, distractions, what have you.
Yeah.
But actually I don't think there's any for July 5th, and that's why I think I let it go. Correct me if I'm wrong.
I don't think there are.
There aren't any, right? Okay. So look at that drop. That's an IP address right there. Top 10 player here now in kill brackets.
Mm-hmm.
What does that mean? That means it's a temporary thing. He's here for the moment. And the board owner wanted us to know he was there. So
Yes.
by Elon responding at 7:01, in my opinion, that's telling us he's that top 10 player who
This is
was
my
there.
favorite. This is my favorite part of your dive, by the way. This is huge. Okay. This
I
is
agree.
huge. Get into that a little bit more, please. Let everybody know again.
Well,
Respond for
E-
101.
Elon is highly recognized as a video game enthusiast, and
Yeah.
not just enthusiast. He's a top player in the world.
Yeah.
All right. So
Yeah.
by the board owner saying top 10 player here now, there's double meanings there. Because not only is he the top 10 player in the world, he's also less than 10,
Yeah. Yeah.
you know, which I do believe he was one of those, you know, non-military.
I've never thought that until recently. I've thought the non-military were Ezra, Cohen, Watnick, um, Dan, obviously, and and I've always thought Barron was involved as one of the three.
Yeah, but remember, go to drop 60. Bring that up real quick. remember, disinformation is necessary,
Mm-hmm.
right? So outside of a potential operator who has been dialed in with orders specific to her mission, nobody else has this information.
Mm-hmm.
So that fits Elon perfectly.
By the way, one of the tenets of Q in terms of finding, you know, podcasters, influencers, leaders in the revolution, I just mentioned operators never divulge at the beginning of the show,
Right,
not knowing we'd end up there, by the way.
right. So you can count the people who have the full picture on two hands. That's 10 or less than 10.
Less than
Q
10.
specifically says less than 10. Only 3 are non-military. So you're not wrong in, suspecting that Ezra and Dan and Baron, are involved with Q. I agree, but they may or may not have the full picture.
Right, right, right. Yeah. And
Because
also important to remember that 61 is the first time we see Q.
that's right. That's right. But DJT had already shown
Yes.
himself.
Yes. And I mentioned that at the beginning of the show too.
Right. So you got to look at it, you know, a certain way. Okay. They knew that there were other operators on the board. They knew that, they had to use plausible deniability when speaking to the Anons on the board.
Yeah.
They had to be very careful with sharing certain information. And at the same time, they had to keep the morale high, So by stating that less than 10 have the full picture, that's going to keep people engaged, right? Because now we want to know. I want to know, who are these 10 people or less than 10? So I'm going to
Mhm.
follow this one and I'm going to follow that one and I'm going to pay attention to what they're saying. You follow me?
Yep. Yep.
And this is a pattern. It's pattern recognition. You follow Dan, of course, he's been with POTUS for more than 20 years. And we know that Dan is the guy, right? When it comes to the social media and posting. So you got to follow Dan. But who knew that there were going to be others right now, like for instance, Pete Hegseth. He was on the boards. Pete Hegseth is an avid Q follower,
I didn't know this.
100%. But
T- t-
the thing is, how can it be proven? So unless you were paying attention to what was going on pre-Q,
Hmm.
right? And who were the true patriots and who were friends of Trump and loyal to Trump, it's going to be hard for you to figure out who's who. In
Mhm.
Trump's second term, in my opinion, in Trump's second term, they all came out.
Hmm.
The less than 10 was referring to those who have the full picture. Doesn't mean that there weren't 100 that were part of it.
Hmm.
Because
Yeah.
the flow of information is vital, right? It's necessary. And you can't rely on less than 10 people to get the flow of information out. So you start feeding certain people, right? You start building off of these breads, right? These threads. You got the anons, that's a given. You got 10 million anons who are engaged in sharing information. But now you need prominent figures.
Mhm.
Now you need, you know, people like, I'll use an example earlier on. It's probably not a good example right now, but at the time it was, Marjorie Taylor Greene and what's his face from Florida, Matt Gaetz, who were very they were staunch supporters of Trump, and they follow Q. Bongino, another one who I believe was on the boards, who had a lot of inside information, maybe not the full picture, but a lot of information. Cash Patel, I believe, yeah, I have reason to believe that he was, you know, heavily involved in the calm before the storm on the poll. Um, Ezra, of course, Stephen Miller, of course, you
Which
know,
they could be considered military because they were they were part of the launch of Space Force. I mean, it's a stretch, but
well, no, because when
what-
you think military, you got to think military intelligence, you got to think high level
yeah, yeah,
military intelligence, and we're never going to know who those people are. Was Quask involved? Was Kellogg involved? Was Kane involved? We don't know. I
hmm
say yes, but we don't know if they were the less than 10.
right,
Because it could be an individual who was higher than them. Who recruited them. I remember this was a 200 general operation, right? Going back 60 years, correct?
yep,
200 generals who, after Kennedy was assassinated, said enough was enough,
yep,
and they began their recruitment and they began their operation. And so we don't know. I don't think we're ever truly going to know who has the full picture. POTUS, absolutely. But other than POTUS, I couldn't tell you. I could guess, but I don't know. Scavino, no. I have to say no. I don't believe he has the full picture. I believe he's been privy to, you know, way more information than most people. But when it comes to like highly classified information, no, because he's not military intelligence. You understand? That has to be military intelligence. And we'll never know. We can't.
hmm
We can't know. If anyone ever knew, it would be leaked. And it's never been leaked. So we're never gonna know.
right, right. And operators never divulge.
Yeah.
Um, so then you go on your dive. 3 days, 10 hours, 17 minutes. Um, Tell us about that. So the timeline. Could you cover that?
So literally 3 days, 10 hours, 17 minutes later, there was another mention of that video. And so I dropped a zero, and lo and behold, we have Sally Yates,
Yeah,
who was, she played a huge role, when Obama was in office with the whole Russian collusion hoax,
yeah.
you know. And again, we're in the Obama timeline, right? So why would Sally Yates come up? I don't
hmm
know. Maybe she turned state's evidence.
Right.
You don't hear from her ever,
No.
right? So maybe she's flipped, and this is a kind of a nod to, not a nod, but a reminder to those on the other side. We have certain people who have the goods on you, right? Because the same way I decoded this, using my theories or what have you, there's probably 1,000 people within the three-letter agencies following this as well,
hmm
and breaking it down as much as they can. And I'm sure this crossed their computer. Oh shit, Sally, what does it mean? Why are they putting Sally Yates? Oh shit. Let me call Obama and let him know Trump's got something up his sleeve. You know, Elon's posting this 3 times. Why is Elon posting this 3 times? Sally Yates, fuck, we forgot about her. She knows a lot.
But
But where
by
is
the way,
she?
yeah, right. And by the way, you know, Trump didn't take the new Qatar Air Force One back, but didn't really discuss how he got back. But I found out how.
Come on, man. That's hilarious. That is hilarious. Oh my God.
Oh man. Um.
Let's touch on that. Let's touch on that for a second.
Yeah. Yeah.
Why would they um advertise that he's not coming back on Air Force One? Think about that.
Yeah. To me, that is exactly what we discovered with that 108 drop, and this Obama one, this Obama, you know, the things that are coming out, the comms that have been surrounding Obama have been so significant as of late. Um, I think it pointed directly to that, and also the connection between Iran and Barack Obama.
Well,
That he's been
let's
on.
say
Yeah, go ahead.
let's say that there was a plot, you know, to assassinate him again. Um, would they really target Air Force One? Like, how stupid could they be? You know, not I'm not saying that it's not possible, but let's say they were plotting to go after Air Force One, right? How would they do that? Face-to-face meetings, you know, encrypted emails, encrypted text messages, whatever, thinking that it's safe to communicate with one another. And Trump's, you know, his team gets wind of it. So they announce that they're not taking back Air Force One. Well, there goes their plot,
Mhm.
right? Now Trump knows, his team knows what they were planning. So by him announcing that he's not taking Air Force One, that's pretty much telling whoever had plans to attempt to assassinate him, we know what you had in mind,
Mhm.
right? What's this?
Um,
Solomon,
yeah.
Secret Service advised Trump not to fly home. NATO summit cartographer. Yeah, yeah. So obviously, Secret Service got wind of something, and if John Solomon is reporting on it, it's because they want him
Yeah.
to report on it.
He's you know, part of the operation.
Yeah, 100%. Because otherwise, he just wouldn't have flown on Air Force One, and nobody would have known it.
Right. Right.
There's a reason for them to put this information out there. And it's basically telling them, hey, Deep State, we know what you had planned. We know who you are. You fucked up. Yeah, John Solomon did that interview about when they approached him. You saw that, right?
Yeah. Yeah, we played that together. You had me bring
Yeah,
that up.
yeah.
Yeah.
I think that's when Q brought him on board. 100%. That's when they brought him on board. And they twit mode him because he was being fed information. You know, him, Sarah Carter, Catherine Herridge, Paul
Yep.
Sperry.
Yep. Yep. And by the way, Moonbeam asked said, I don't think they said anything until we touched down Air Force One in the U.S. It was actually um, he announced it. Um, he was flying out of Turkey on an older Air Force One for old time's sake instead of the newly renovated one.
Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter when they announced it.
And then
The
he's
fact that they announced it
yeah.
puts his enemies on notice. Basically telling them, I know what you had planned.
Yep.
And it didn't work. I just took my other plane. What's that? Trump announced Wednesday. On a baby blue plane.
Yeah.
Oh, is that why they had the I saw somebody posted like that they made the correlation to the Jim Carrey movie,
Truman Show.
The Truman Show. Remember that scene at the end where he found the door and he walked through the
Yep.
door?
Yep.
Someone made the correlation between that and Trump boarding Air Force One. I didn't get it, but yeah.
Hmm. Yeah. Did he say good morning? And if I don't see you later, good afternoon, good night.
Yeah.
Hi, buddy. Um, so back to after Sally Yates, July 2020
2229.
to
And
29.
by the way, a lot of these hit markers on the Q clock, and that's not by accident. So
Well,
3 days later, this Mark Andreessen,
mhm.
P. Marker, I don't know who he is. I've never heard of him, but Elon reposted his post, and it said "God bless America," and that's beautiful. And he's just reposting the video, but the timestamp. Remember, the 4:55 drop wants us to focus on timestamps, right? So scroll down. Is this my pick? Yeah, this is my.
Mhm.
Yeah. Keep going. It's right there. Look how many markers. It had 3 markers on the Q clock. That 2229 post.
Oh,
Keep and who is it? It's Valerie Jarrett.
hmm. Who is the snake?
That's right. Born in Iran. She, I believe, was Obama's handler.
Oh, absolutely,
Yeah.
absolutely. And when he got the base in D.C. after he left office, she moved in with he and Mike.
That's right. So there were other posts with that timestamp, and sometimes when I find Q jobs with a certain timestamp, I ask myself like which one is the most relevant. That's why the Q clock helps. You understand?
Right,
Because the
right,
Q
right.
clock in this case it hit 3 markers. So in my opinion, they want us to focus on Valerie Jarrett. I gave a brief description there. I didn't want to get into so much of my theory because again, it was such a long post. I didn't go crazy, but yeah, you notice a pattern, right? It's all going back to Obama. That's the pattern, right? So one day, 18 hours and 30 minutes later, right? 1830, again, hits the markers. The Clinton Foundation. Okay. Now you can also make that 3230. One day, and was it 18 hours? You could break it down to 3230. Again, hits all the markers.
Mhm.
And what is this drop telling us? It's a Q proof.
Yeah.
And it's talking about timestamps. It shows a watch. Again, with the theme of the timestamps and the clock, you know.
And isn't this also weren't these pictures taken aboard Air Force One?
Yeah, yeah. That was another drop, but yeah. keep scroll down. So it talks about, shall we play another Q-proof game? Okay, so
Mhm.
again, and it was a timeline. It was a timestamp thing, and the watch. So we're continuing on with timestamps. So
Yeah.
Elon posted again. As this time he posted it at 6:59. Yeah, this one blew my mind.
2 markers. A link to a Nate Kane post.
That's right, Nate Kane. To those who think there will never be justice, think again. At Real Donald Trump seemed pretty confident tonight. I hope you're going to be happy. That implies that he has knowledge that something is coming. Drain the swamp, arrest the traitors, justice is coming. TikTok.
And he mentioned TikTok.
Mm-hmm.
He was number 1 on TikTok.
Mm-hmm. So when you mirror that, panic mode in Jerry show.
Wow.
Right. Now, 67 hours and 14 minutes later, there was another mention of the video. And of course you can't, there's no sig yeah, 67-14, there's no drops, there's no 6,000 drops. So I mirrored it because he's reposting,
Right.
right?
Okay, good.
So I
Good.
mirrored that. And
Yeah.
there's your 41-17. And I thought this was very relevant because remember when Justin Trudeau came out and mentioned, he said, there it is. Yeah, listen to this.
For a minute, so I can talk to your kids.
I can't hear it. Can you hear it?
Hold on.
Okay. By asking all the moms to step out of the room for a minute, so I can talk to your kids.
I'm asking moms to step out of the room for a moment so I can talk to kids. Meanwhile, this guy's a proven pedo.
That's right. You remember that. So why did I include this? Well, we just talked about the Clinton Foundation, right? And Maggie Nixon,
Yep.
right? And the connection between her mom and James Alefontis. It's all about the children. That I think is going to be the end game for all of them. Like who comes out and says, "Parents, I need you to leave the room so I can talk to your children."
And I'll give you a second. Okay.
Who in their right
By
mind
asking all the moms
says that?
to step out of the room for a minute, so I can talk to your kids.
That's creepy.
So again, Elon gave us at least 3 different timestamps. So all I'm doing is following the timestamps. And then his last one was 213 after we were in your show discussing all of this. And I
Yep.
remember saying to you it was brilliantly done. It was a brilliantly done
Yep.
video,
Yep.
brilliantly done. And he had mentioned to Heavy Pulp, when he responded to her, he responded in one word: brilliant.
Yeah.
That was that 7:01 timestamp. But your 2:13 a.m., the world cannot swallow the truth. Right? And so I added there, will they be forced to? I believe they will. I believe there's going to come a time where the mainstream media is going to be forced to tell the truth. And those who have been in denial all this time are going to start seeing things that we've seen over the years. They're going to be forced to see the truth. What's the mirror of 213, 312? It brings us back to Hussein.
Yep. Beautiful. Yeah.
Brings us right back.
It's fantastic. Renegade.
Yeah. They knew all along. They knew all along. And the thing that I like about this drop is it includes Bill and Hillary Clinton.
Yeah.
They're not excluding them from this whole operation. Remember, I said there's two operations going on within this operation. One is taking down the Obama legacy,
Mm-hmm.
right? Along with Brennan and Clapper and Comey and all of that. That's the Obama side, and the other side is the DNC, Hillary and Podesta and all the Satanists. You know, there's two sides to this, and Obama, his intentions were to control Hillary, and that's why he bailed her out.
You mean by not allowing the
The
server
emails, the emails.
Yeah.
Yep. But he also paid her debt.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Then I go into the 45-59,
Mm-hmm.
which was very significant.
Yeah.
They showed it twice, 16 seconds apart or 17 seconds apart. Yeah. Q job 45-59. Scroll back down, please, so I can read that. Shifts away from individual political figures and toward broader themes. It speaks about the American flag, patriotism, civic responsibility, we the people, national unity, and preserving freedom for future generations. It concludes with President Ronald Reagan's reminder that freedom must be protected and passed from one generation to the next. As I compared Q Drop 44-59 with the heavy pulp video, I noticed recurring themes rather than identical language. Throughout the video are patriotic images, American flags, historical references, military symbolism, and repeated appeals to national unity and love of country. Even the accompanying message given to us by P. Marker, God Bless America, fits naturally alongside those themes. Whether those parallels are meaningful or coincidental, scroll up, Dave. Did you leave or?
No, I'm here. Sorry.
Is something each reader can consider. For me, they completed the timeline, the final timestamp. Every timeline has a beginning, every timeline has an end. This one ends where it began. Back inside the video, back at the timestamp, back at the message. Every post, every timestamp, every date. Scrolly.
Sorry, man. Sorry.
It's okay.
You know what I'm doing right now?
What's up?
I'm killing a scorpion in my studio.
Oh, are you serious?
Yeah.
A scorpion got in your house?
Yeah. They're little scorpions. They're Texas scorpions. They're not they're not they're not poisonous.
Oh,
But
okay. That's why my wife is afraid to move to the Southwest, because of scorpions, by the way.
is
So I'm glad she didn't hear that. Every elapsed interval, every screenshot, every Q job referenced in this article can be independently verified. So people, go out there, look into it yourself, come to your own conclusions. What do you got? You showing me the scorpion?
Yeah.
Come on.
There it is.
Wow. And they're not poisonous.
No.
How do you know?
It's like a bee sting. I did my research.
That's tiny. Look how little that is.
Yeah.
That's crazy. It should be terrified.
Jasper was playing with it, trying to figure out what it was, and I didn't want him getting stung.
That's funny. Yeah. He alerted you.
Yeah, totally. He totally does. He like makes a deal about it. Yeah. It's
Let me
it,
finish. Let me finish reading it. We're right at
yeah.
the end,
Let me get back to.
and then we'll move on.
Let me center it.
Scroll up. We're almost done with this. Yeah, yeah. Well, keep going. A little more. Yeah, right there. Yep. Every Q job reference in this article can be independently verified. I didn't create the timestamps. I simply follow them. Maybe the message isn't hidden in the words. Maybe it's hidden in the timestamps. So that's just some of the connections that I made. Again, I don't know if this person is involved with the Q movement or not. I mean, we all are, right? I don't know if they purposely did this. I would say yes. They purposely led us to make these connections. The fact that Elon reposted it 3 times is confirmation that they want us to go back into it. And I'm sure if I go back into it again, I'll find more stuff, you
Yeah.
know. But I mean, you can't deny it at this point. You just can't.
No. No.
The whole red folder thing, going back to George Washington with the wormhole. I'm starting to believe that or it's like how we're painting on this for Barry
Maybe
North has been
maybe
there, done that.
maybe it's because I'm 250 pounds. Maybe that might have something to do with it. But I've already been stung by one, and it didn't bother me.
Yeah, no, I'm not doing that. But I
Oh, and somebody
remember,
says they travel in pairs. That's what. Yeah, Stephanie. That's what I wanted to hear. Shit.
oh man,
Ah,
the other one's in your pocket.
I gotta go. I gotta go. He's like wondering where his buddy is. He just saw me put him in a cassette tape coffin.
He's got a vengeance for you now.
Yeah. Now he's coming for me.
Yeah, I remember years ago, Dave, and I can't remember where I saw it, but and I've seen it throughout the years. There was a story about George Washington going into the woods before battle and praying. And while he prayed, he was visited by otherworldly beings. Okay? So when I saw this with George Washington with the red folder, I immediately thought, okay, information. There's been information passed down for centuries, going even before Dave. Yeah, you ain't Stephen Knight. You ain't Stephen Knight. Even going back before George Washington, right? This could be going back, millennia, as far as interaction with humans from otherworldly beings. Okay, but I remember vividly. I can't source it, but I'm sure if you look into it, you could find it as well. Where George Washington, before he went into battle, he went by himself to go pray into the woods, and he was visited on more than one occasion by otherworldly beings, light beings. And so when I saw that with the wormhole, the red folder being passed on from one president to the other, you know, it's information being passed on, right? This is information warfare, correct?
And in Washington, his number one asset was information, was
There you
spying.
go. There you go. I mean, it's always been that way, Dave.
Yeah.
That predates Washington. You can go back to the times of the Romans. It's always been about information. But the way they depicted that in that video was brilliant because they showed all these presidents, and then they showed Obama being taken away.
Being arrested. Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Why? Because he abused it.
Yeah. And by the way, what was I going to say? Oh, in that last post in your dive, let me go back to that. Not the last one, but the last one here. Who currently protects um, Hussein or Renegade? Why is this relevant? Who currently protects Bill and Hillary Clinton? Do you believe that who's protecting them are the U.S. Marshals?
Yes,
Me too. Yeah,
100%.
yeah,
And I'll tell you why. And I wholeheartedly believe that everyone you see that you think should have been arrested
has
have been
yeah,
arrested,
yeah, yeah,
and they're on house arrest and being monitored and escorted everywhere they go. Think about that one clip that you just showed about Obama going to London,
yeah,
right, by himself, walking
yeah,
in those doors by himself.
yeah.
That's a white hat operation. You can't look at it any other way.
Right, right.
Under normal circumstances, he would have went in with Secret Service.
Yeah,
I can't hear you, Dave.
yeah, yeah. I
Nope,
agree.
can't hear you. I lost you.
All right, I'll kick you
Can't hear you.
out of here. Out of
You
here.
kicking me out again?
Yeah. I just kicked him. He'll have to come back. Um, yeah, and also, well, I'll wait. I'll wait till he comes back in. Um, yeah, and folks, donations are appreciated. Please, please join us in this revolution with your support of this Truthcast. And I'll drop this link. Here we go. He is back. And is he hearing me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Awesome. Awesome. Now, the yeah, and the other thing too is remember at Biden's inauguration, when Pelosi was walked in and told not to say anything, and those were U.S. Marshals,
Right,
and we've also seen them in San Francisco with her.
right,
Yeah,
right.
absolutely. And by the way, check this out. The legend, Washington's vision at Valley Forge. Alone in his quarters, sometimes described as praying, a beautiful ethereal female figure, often interpreted as an angel or the Virgin Mary, and later
There you
returned
go.
appears. She
There you
shows
go.
him prophetic visions of America's future, the
Mm-hmm.
Revolutionary War, internal conflict, the Civil War, foreign invasions,
Mm-hmm.
and ultimate victory through unity under God and the Union.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I remember that vividly. I don't recall where I got the information from because it was so long ago, and I mean a couple of decades at least, where I first saw this or read it. I don't remember exactly where, but
Yeah.
there was a picture of him kneeling down
Yeah.
and praying in the woods, and there were angelic figures like light beings around him. And the legend was that before he went into battle, he would go into the woods and pray, and they would literally visit him. So this right here says a lot. What you just showed here, they were giving him information. They were letting him know we're here with you.
Right.
You're gonna go through this turmoil, but ultimately you're gonna be victorious. And so they may have given, aside from that, they may have given him certain information, to ensure that he remained in power, right? Because
Yep.
information is leverage, right? And when you're having these face-to-face meetings with your adversaries, information is vital,
Yeah.
right? You can catch your enemy off guard just by mentioning a single phrase, right? Now your enemy has to behave a certain way because you have this information, and they're wondering to themselves, how the hell did he get that information? And I think Trump has been doing that all along. When I told you that we're going to talk about this later on, that one drop that mentioned POTUS, in my opinion, I think it was 158 or 157, maybe. I don't remember right now, and I've mentioned this many times before. In my opinion, when Trump started The Apprentice, he did that with the goal of obtaining as much information from these individuals within Hollywood, you know, as possible, so that he can then use that information against them. Right now, you've been on sets, you know, how it is. If you're a famous actor or somewhat famous, and you're called to a set, say in New York, and you're from California, you have to make arrangements before you arrive.
Oh,
I need
absolutely.
I
Yeah.
need I need the presidential suite. I need, such and such person to meet me at such and such cafe, and you make all these arrangements. Trump
And
was
and and
privy
you
to
have
all that.
and you have to find out how many uh, how many Teamsters you have to pay that aren't going to show
Right.
up.
Well, yeah, it's funny, but not funny. You know
Yeah.
what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
you soup to nuts. Everything has to be laid out.
Yeah. I
Trump,
had to pay two Teamsters that never showed. And it was understood that they weren't
it's a
going to show up.
racket. It's a racket.
Absolutely.
But you get what I'm saying.
Totally.
He imagine Arnold Schwarzenegger, coming to the show. He's out in California. Yeah,
Hmm.
he's got some pull, but you're doing The Apprentice, and so you have to remain on set. But I guarantee you, he had a trailer outside that building where just him and his people were allowed to go into. And I just use him as an example, but that's the case across the board for any, big Hollywood. They don't,
Hmm.
not all of them do the hotels, because they want so much privacy, and they
Yeah.
want to be able to just get up and, appear on set. You
Dan
don't
Dan,
know.
Dan Aykroyd would have a train car. He had his own train car. He doesn't like to fly, so he travels by train. So his thing was a train car.
So now think about drugs and prostitution, right? Think
Hmm.
about pet peeves. You know, certain people only like certain things. Think Richard Gere, right? And what he was into, and how he was banned, you know, from the Madam scene in New York City because of his pet peeves.
Hmm.
It's real, man. A lot of people don't realize how crazy this world is.
Hmm.
When you're doing a show which is the number one show in the world, The Apprentice, at the time, at its peak, you're getting 20 million views, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19 million views
Yeah.
per show. You're getting all the top actors and aspiring individuals who want to make it in the finance world, or what have you. Everyone's watching. Everyone wants to be a part of that. Trump gathered all that information.
Mm. Mm. Well,
And
I was talking to a friend of mine today. She's from New York, and she said Trump was the king of New York.
100%.
He was he
100%.
was he was loved by the rappers. He was loved by the black leaders. He was loved by the Hollywood. Um,
Forget love. He was respect
yeah, yeah,
more than love,
yeah.
because they all wanted to emulate him. right? That was a given. And I was at the fight at the Garden, and he was there when Holyfield fought Lewis. I was down on the press level, and it was like a who's who of celebrities. That's Trump's world.
Yeah.
You think of Don King. You know, he wasn't bigger than Trump.
No.
Trump was in Don King's world. Trump was bigger than Don King.
Yeah. Yeah.
In that era, everyone wanted to hang out with Donald Trump because Donald Trump commanded this respect wherever
Yes.
he went. And he went into the all of the elite clubs. You've been to New York. You know New York. New
Mm-hmm.
York is known for elite clubs that, if you don't know someone, or if you're not part of that, if you're not a member of you're not getting
Right.
in.
Right.
You're just not getting in. Aside from
Mm-hmm.
all the regular clubs and the VIPs and the after hour joints and all that, there's elite clubs in New York.
That we don't hear about.
Nope. And he was invited to all of them.
Yeah.
You know. So look, I don't care what you say about the man. I've known him for many, many, many years. I had the privilege of shaking his hand. You know, he's never changed. He's always been America first. He loves his country. He's a businessman. You know, call him a shrewd businessman, whatever. He's been successful. He's been very successful in his lifetime, and there's no convincing me that he does not have certain technology that
Right.
no one else has.
Yeah.
So he will always have the upper hand
Yep.
over everyone.
Yeah.
Everyone.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I gotta close down shop. I gotta be up at 4:30 in the morning. Um, and we could go on and on. We've been on 3 hours and 20 minutes.
That's a short one.
Yeah, right. Um, yeah, uh, my friend, this is awesome. I mean, we are just getting the comms have been just incredible. The Obama, something's going to happen with Obama. I mean,
I
literally the
think
day
so.
after we did our show, Fox got the Freedom of Information Act on Obama was at the compound when the chef died.
Dude, we were talking about that.
Yeah, and
We
and
talked
the
about
the
that.
narrative was absolutely that he wasn't there.
Nah, I remember clearly his hand, the cuts on his hand, the bandages,
Yeah,
and
you
they
said
tried to
that.
say that
That's
he
right.
was golfing. He was
Yep.
golfing that day, and nah, that was the cover up.
Yeah. Yep. Absolutely. Absolutely. Unbelievable. Um, any final words, my friend?
Stay tuned. I don't, I
Right?
don't, I don't
Right?
really look. Listen, man. I know a lot. I don't know it all. Every day I wake up and I expect to see something new, and I'm never disappointed. I follow Solomon. I follow Sperry. Sperry follows me, by the way, which was a
Yeah, you said
huge.
that. That's
When
awesome.
he followed me, I was like, whoa, wait a minute, let me verify this. Oh shit, that's Paul Sperry. That because I shared a lot of his stuff years ago. I followed him. I believed in everything he was putting out there, and I watched him get dogged by a lot of people. You know, but he's never wavered. He's always put out great information. Same for Solomon.
Yep.
Same for Catherine Herridge.
Mhm.
Hannity, he gave them a platform,
Yeah.
but he's iffy, in my
Yeah.
opinion.
Yeah.
Sarah Carter, I think she's doing a lot behind the scenes. I think she's heavily involved in the border right now. Um, there's just so much that's yet to be seen. I think you and I are going to be, totally shocked and amazed at the information that's going to start to come out. We're going into midterms. We
Yeah.
absolutely cannot lose these midterms. And
Yeah.
it brings us back to the red wave, right? Red October.
Yeah.
It has to happen. I haven't seen it yet. Do you agree?
Yeah. I mean,
I can't hear you.
really,
I can't hear you. This is crazy. What the
it's
hell?
unbelievable, dude.
Oh
Unbelievable.
my God. I'm coming back. We're not leaving the show like this.
Yeah. No,
I'm
no,
coming
no.
back.
All right. Get out. Get out. Folks, Matrix Codebreaker had this hidden delta that I'm going to show Oliver real quick, and it's he's going to love it. Folks, change your life with this pulse electronic magnetic frequency in terahertz. Please check out snedpemf.com. Have a conversation with Nancy. Learn more about this. This is a game changer, my friends. I went over a bunch of testimonials today, and I was blown away. Blown away. Hey, my friend, can you hear me now?
Yes, I can hear you.
Yes.
And I'll talk to you about that tomorrow. My attorney called me today. I have great news. So
Awesome.
We'll
Okay.
discuss that tomorrow.
Cool. Yeah, we're talking about the Oli Life device. Oliver and I are talking about that. Yeah, dude. I was sent a link today to a Telegram channel where it's only people's testimonials. Oh my God, you would not believe the testimonials. I'll send it to you.
Oh no, I believe it.
Oh my God,
I believe
it's
there's
unbelievable.
magic in electronic magnetic frequency. There's magic in
Yeah,
that.
absolutely.
And also the sound wave that
Yeah,
you and I talked about.
yeah,
It's natural healing.
yep,
It's
yep.
natural healing, and they hid it from us.
Yeah, absolutely. And I brought up Matrix Codebreaker, this hidden delta, which I think I touched on years ago, but the October 21st, 2020 post on Now Playing, Guardians of the Pedophiles, Panic in DC and FISAgate, and
Today.
in the picture is July 9th.
Today.
It's a delta, yeah. All three movies playing simultaneously. Do you find it interesting that everything discussed in the past is somehow making news as of late? Yeah.
100%.
Right?
They will all culminate at once.
Yeah. It's
Has to.
unbelievable. We're in Act 3, brother.
We can't give them an out.
No.
Oh, I lost you again, Dave.
Ah, jeez.
Listen, I salute you, kid. Great show again. Thanks for having me. And we'll just keep pressing on.
Awesome, brother. Thanks so
Watch
much,
California, watch New York City. It's
Right.
happening, my friends. If you doubt it, sucks to be you.
Yeah, right. Right. Yeah,
I can't hear you, man. But good night, brother. Thanks for having me.
Good night. Thank you. Shout out to Oliver. And only 3 times he got kicked from the audio was taken from him tonight, which is better than what we have been doing. My friends, I also wanted to mention that until July 31st, with every $1,000 purchase of this PEMF devices, you get a free air purifier, $500, that also puts some of this technology in your air. It's amazing, but do yourself a favor, even if you can't afford it, but you'd have to save up for it, or you'd have to figure out how to get it. Have a conversation with Nancy Sutherland about this device, or Wayne Clark, and you're going to be blown away with the testimonials. I promise you. This is one of the supporters of this show, so I wanted to give it some time. You've seen it, me posting it across the bottom throughout the show. There's a reason for that, my friends. This is huge, and this is a company that literally has done $3 billion in sales in 3 years. That's unheard of, and it's no advertising. It's all word of mouth. It's all somebody uses it, is blown away, tells their friend, tells their family, they buy one. They're blown away, and this is it's unbelievable. So my friends, please check that out. SNEDPEMF.com. And you will help support this show. And thank you for those who saw in the chat the donation link that you can use. My Zelle is still not online. I literally was on the phone for half an hour with Wells Fargo yesterday, and they verified my phone number, and then she cut me off. And it's like, no call back, no nothing. But at any rate, unbelievable. But yeah, thank you all for being here for our friend Oliver. And I will say, yeah, and it kept Moonbeam out of the emergency room after she fell. Unbelievable. Um, and Nancy says, my motto for Oli life: if you put your feet on it, you'll want it, without question. Without question. My friends, thanks for hanging. I will be off. Let's see, unless something really big goes down tomorrow night, I will probably not be on. Not sure about the weekend. It's been only 2 shows this week, but combined 4 hours, probably longer. And but so much, so much. And if there's one thing that I really, really want you to embrace, is that for those of us like myself and Oliver and you, and most of you, because you've all learned how to do these dives from me or from somebody else, but you've all become anons, and because that's who Q wanted to talk to, as the people that are really, really paying attention and are really objective and critical thinkers. And I will tell you, when Oliver and I talk, it is all positive. It's all positive. It's like, wow, can you believe this? Can you believe this? Can you believe it? It's like, wow, it's happening, my friends. And you know me, I've never been a hopium guy. I've always had hope, but I've always had receipts to say this is why I have hope. It's not a false hope. It's not just a blind belief in Donald Trump. It's not a blind belief in 4,966 posts online on 4chan, 8chan, and 8kun. It's not just that. It's bringing it all together as information, valuable information, the kind of information that George Washington tapped into and was all a part of, and all the great generals and all the great wartime presidents that used information, used code breaking, used information. How we became enslaved with information by Rothschild when he found out that that England won the Battle of Waterloo and thus the war against France. And he had the courier service in Europe, and he was the first to know. And he used that to, he told his people to sell stock. And when everyone saw his guys selling stock and they knew that he would know who won that war, they thought England lost the war. And so they sold. And at the end of the day, he bought up everything. And the next morning, when everyone found out that England won, the stock market went in the city of London, went through the roof, and he owned everything. And then he sent his 5 sons out to the rest of Europe to control the banking around Europe at the time. And then in 1913, with the Federal Reserve Act, And that's the central banking. And that is something that President Trump has absolutely demolished. And he turned the Fed into the Treasury. That had never been done before. Not the private banking Fed that has, I think, been a part of the U.S. Story 3 times since Andrew Jackson kept it out of the country. So information is everything, and the information we're getting is we must use it. We must use it to our advantage, and even if that advantage, because we're not on the front lines and we're not, directing military or anything, that information must be used by us to our benefit, to not be stressed, to not be in fear. The number one line in all of the ancient religious texts: do not fear, be not afraid, for that weakens us. And information and gathering of all this information is to be used to not be fearful, and to step into our power as human beings and step into our strength as human beings, and really make a difference in this world, and definitely make a difference in this revolution. I am David Snedeker. This is the Indoctrination. Thanks for joining us. Thank you to our guest, Sir Oliver Pollock. My friends, please, if you're not following Sir Oliver, he is Sir Censorlot, at Sir Censorlot, because he, like I, have been censored a ridiculous amount of times, and 3 times tonight when he can't hear me. There's no technical problem here. I have a little static in my mic from time to time. That's not just completely cutting somebody out, like he gets cut out every time we get together. Much love to you all. Thanks for being here. Good night. Be well.